Chapter 151. The boy wiped his tears, looking at the light on the magic stick in surprise. He was quite sure. It's just a toy. Moreover, it doesn't even have the function of emitting light. Could it be that Tiga heard my voice? The boy's face turned red with excitement. I believe in the light. Suddenly, this ray of light flew into the sky. Fly into the unity, the passage connecting the two worlds. This scene was captured completely by the light curtain. Suddenly, people, especially children's hearts, hope is ignited. Some of them picked up various summoning devices. Some of them took flashlights and shone them at the TV. But, the real power, it is the light in their hearts. In the darkness, countless tiny dots of light fly out from the earth. Gather together. That strong light, heading towards the unity. A moment. Then you enter the world behind the light curtain. Suddenly, on the light curtain, all Ultramen, they are all illuminated by this incomparably powerful light. Tiga roared. Break free in an instant. All Ultramen turned into light. Gathered together. Suddenly, an extremely strong white light. The people under the piercing light curtain couldn't open their eyes. The light faded away. Noah appears. Noah means hope. As long as there is hope, he will be there. Noah's body was surrounded by light. He. Noah, we meet again. Last time, you sneakily attacked me and robbed me of my victory. This time, I will tear you into pieces. Noah didn't say a word. He gathered his energy. Pure white energy shot out from his hands. Accurately hit the monster's body. Suddenly, the monster's body exploded instantly. Plasma of various colors mixed together and spurted out. The dark energy also overflowed. 1/3 of the monster has been completely shattered. Ah, ha 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 ha. Ha ha ha. You are still so powerful, even in this universe, but... Boom. Noah wouldn't give Zaki a chance to speak. The light shot out violently. A truly strong person wouldn't have so many fancy moves. Nor will they engage in verbal battles with the other party. Instead, we strive to eliminate the enemy in the simplest way and at the fastest speed. Just a moment. The monster's body is filled with powerful energy. Explode instantly. FK, it was solved with just one move? Noah is still strong. Yes, I thought that Ultraman with all the light gathered together would be very strong, but I didn't expect him to be this strong. Is the crisis resolved? After all, the remaining ones are not enough for Noah to fight. Ah! I never thought we would win. S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick stared at the screen in disbelief. He never imagined that one day, these things in the virtual world would actually appear. Moreover, it can save the world. Almost everyone thought that the crisis was over. But, they didn't expect it. In the light curtain, the monster's body has turned into ashes. But, the evil resentment of Dark Zaki has not yet dissipated. Ha 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 ha, naive Noah. Do you think this is the end? It's just the beginning. Suddenly, the whole world, they all started to tremble. And the resentment of Dark Zaki seemed to have turned into a black hole. Suddenly, all the villains present. Suddenly he revealed an extremely painful expression. Their energy. All of them were sucked away by Zaki. Ha 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 ha, ha ha ha. An enormous, dark entity that represents all resentment gradually takes shape. Ah, see, Noah. You can't kill me at all. That entity constantly changes its form. Existence of this level can no longer be described as a living thing. Even, it can be said that it is a concept. The entity of resentment opened its mouth. Suddenly, the space began to distort. Hume index, constantly changing. Boom. An extremely powerful dark energy. Blast at Noah. Noah quickly gathered all the energy in his body. Fight back with rays. But, seem, that dark energy is even more powerful. Noah's light gradually faded. He had no choice but to activate the shield defense. With a bang, shield explodes. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Noah dodged. But, the next moment, the entity instantly appeared behind Noah. All of a sudden, he pierced his chest with his hand. Chapter 152. This move. Suddenly, the light curtain appeared. Total silence. People were going to cheer for the victory. Unexpectedly, the enemy not only resurrected, but also became more powerful. And he killed Noah in seconds. Nick's face was full of panic. Why, is it like this? He didn't expect it. Noah, the man who represented the faith of all mankind, was killed just like that? You know. The monsters in the world of Here Comes the Dragon will invade reality. If such a monster were allowed to come into this world, he is scarier than any of the previous containment objects. At least that's what Nick thought. And all the hopes of mankind were destroyed. This will deal a severe blow to human morale. However, just at this moment, in the light curtain, just when Dark Zaki was feeling proud, behind him, Noah suddenly appears. His arms were folded in the shape of a cross. Powerful energy shoots out from it. It instantly hit the body of Dark Zaki. Suddenly, his body began to swell rapidly. It seems like it's about to explode. But, the next moment, the power of darkness bursts forth. All the energy in his body was absorbed. Dark Zaki also returned to normal. Ahaha, your little tricks don't work on me, Noah. Dark Zaki rushed towards Noah again. Noah releases energy, forming a lightsaber. He chopped at Dark Zaki's head. But, the moment the sword touched his body, it was absorbed. It's useless. All your light will turn into my power. You will become a part of my body too. Ha 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 ha. Rocket's chest heaved violently. He pulled out his last bullet. Loaded, hey, damn a hole, boom. The bullet hit Dark Zaki accurately. However, Noah's light had no effect on Dark Zaki. Not to mention ordinary bullets. I almost forgot, there are a bunch of bedbugs. Suddenly, Dark Zaki screamed. Black energy. Wrap up Rocket and others, as well as Beilong. Suddenly, their bodies began to shrink gradually. Dark Zaki transformed into dozens of arms. Grabbing towards Noah. Noah defended with a shield. But the shield's energy will also be absorbed. He saw it. A rocket that is about to be sucked into a bear's dung. He knew that this was not a solution. As a result, his whole body burst out with hot energy. White light enveloped his body. At the moment, behind him, all the giants of light appear at the same time. Off, Ou Wang, Zero, the 5 Ultra Brothers, the 3 heroes of the Heisei era. They all put on their signature postures. Ah! Hundreds of rays merged with Noah's rays. Shoot towards Dark Zaki. Dark Zaki was hit by an extremely powerful beam of light. Take a few steps back. His body is getting bigger and bigger. Ha, ha ha, stupid guys, your energy will only make me stronger. He greedily absorbed the powerful energy. But soon I felt something was wrong. His body began to swell up like a balloon. Like a balloon that is about to burst. No, no, stop. Ah, damn it, I'm going to kill you. Dark Zaki roared in horror. But, nothing can help. His body had expanded to the point where it blocked out the sky and the sun. And there is no stopping at all. Just before Dark Zaki's body was about to explode, Noah opened the space portal. Then, gather strength in your hands. A huge amount of white light ball pushed Dark Zaki directly into the portal. Then Noah immediately closed the portal. In another space, Dark Zaki's body finally began to explode. There is constant light spill. The next moment, the magnificent explosion spread over tens of thousands of kilometers. Directly destroy all the surrounding planets. This situation, the audience under the light curtain exclaimed. It turns out that the real fighting power of Ultraman is at the star blasting level. Rocket rose from the ground. He is very weak now. Even his cheeks were deflated. But he understood. They won. Yeah, the rockets cheered. Groot, I'm Groot. Quill danced with joy. Although, he was knocked unconscious by a stone as soon as he appeared on the stage and just woke up. At the moment, Rocket stroked the white dragon beside him. Hey, friend, we won. We won. Rocket said excitedly, and you managed to survive. Bai Long heard this. I tried hard to open my eyes. Then, closed again. Rocket, hey, man, did you hear that? He patted Bai Long's body. But Bai Long didn't react at all. Rocket's smile disappeared in an instant. Hello, friend. His voice trembled. He tentatively smelled the white dragon's breath. But there is no breath left. Rocket immediately fell to his knees. He remembered again. Those dead animal companions. Why, every time, I am the only one who survives. Rocket covered his face and cried. Foundation base. See this scene. The girl Jia hid under the covers. Trying hard to cover up the sound of your crying. All that. No way. Why is Bai Long? He has already won. It is the last dragon. I never expected that the final outcome would be like this. The world is still there, but in the end, the dragons have only been here. Ah. I was just about to say that at least the white dragon survived and the dragon race did not become extinct, but I didn't expect. This containment is really too cruel. Can't there be a perfect ending? Even an imperfect ending is fine. The result is a tragedy. At least, everything they wanted to protect is still there, isn't it? Alas. In the light curtain, Noah felt that his energy was about to run out. He felt the sadness of the world and the passing of life. He looked. The white dragon was lying on the ground. Motionless. Chapter 153. Noah stood up. He opened his arms. Then, a white light surged out of his body. And his figure gradually disappeared. Transformed into rays of light. Gamera was dazed for a moment as he was bathed in the warm light. He left. However, the final victory was achieved. But it's a pity. All the dragons died. Sadly, this is still a tragedy. She watched as the light merged into the white dragon's body. How she wished that Bai Long could also feel the warmth of the light. Just at this moment, the body of the white dragon. It seemed to twitch. Gamera was stunned. She rubbed her eyes. I thought I saw it wrong. Rocket Raccoon immediately pounced on him. If I'm not mistaken, did it just move? He was very excited. He placed his hand in front of the white dragon's nostrils. Suddenly, I felt a warm breath. It's alive, it's alive. The rockets were ecstatic. Bai Long opened his eyes. It feels good. But it didn't understand why it was able to wake up. It stood up and looked in good shape. Not hurt at all. Even. All the fallen scales have been restored. Bai Long felt energized. It arched its body. Then, a strong wind blew. It flew into the sky. Soaring in the sky. Just when others were sincerely happy about the resurrection of the white dragon. But I didn't notice. Noah's light entered into the bodies of other dead dragons. Suddenly, they all shine brightly. The injuries on his body recovered at a speed visible to the naked eye. Even the severed limbs grew back. They woke up quickly. And was very surprised by this. Seeing my friends recover. Bai Long was naturally very happy. Fly up and down in the air. That's not all. Inside the Unity spacecraft, the corpses of origami dragons neatly arranged by rockets, everything started to tremble. The wrinkles on the tail of the yellow dragon have been restored. It wakes up first. Then came the remaining dragons. The green dragon also woke up and shook its body a few times. He has returned to his naughty and cheerful look. See this scene. The girl Jia jumped up from the bed. Her little face turned red with excitement. She didn't expect it. These origami dragons come to life too. In the light curtain, the origami dragons jumped up and down. Obviously didn't understand what was going on. After a while, they all got into the cardboard box. The inner world. Suddenly, several huge amounts of dragons fell from the sky. The yellow dragon is an oriental dragon like the white dragon. It's just a little smaller. When it saw the white dragon, it immediately flew into the sky. Dance with her. It seems that they are very intimate. The other dragons, like their companions, have huge amounts of wings or are covered in feathers. The most unexpected. The most popular little green dragon. It's actually the tallest. Moreover, he has well-developed muscles and looks very handsome. This is far from the silly image in everyone's mind. Wow, look, those origami dragons have come to life too. Oh my god, is this little green? So handsome. I didn't expect that the dumbest one is the most handsome one. He must have been very brave in the previous battles. I didn't expect it to be such a perfect ending. Everyone was resurrected. And the battle was won. Wow, I can't believe such a wonderful thing. Noah turned into light and saved the dragons. So where did he go? He is hope. As long as there is hope, he will be there. If we need him, I believe he will appear again. Nick was dazed for a moment. All along, the objects in containment have become more powerful and more terrifying than the last. Ever since the last time 999 appeared. Nick didn't expect any kind or warm-hearted shelter to appear. Even after the dragon appears here. Nick couldn't believe it either. It will have such a perfect ending. His eyes couldn't help but become moist. He was different from his peers since he was young. He never watched animation or comics, nor did he participate in any entertainment activities. After becoming a top agent, he's seen too much darkness. That heart had long been cold as a stone. If someone asks him, "Do you believe in light?" This is a childish question. He wouldn't even bother to pay any attention. But now, he understood. This light refers to hope. Refers to people's ardent desire for beautiful things. Light. Nick muttered. The scene where Noah turned into light and saved the dragon clan. He will never forget it. Camartage. The Ancient One smiled. See this smile? Strange on the side was extremely surprised. He didn't expect it. The dignified Sorcerer Supreme. He actually smiled. Ancient One realized a lot of things. Before this, she had been working hard to improve herself and try her best to cultivate an excellent magician. To protect the earth and mankind. But, she has always ignored it. The original power of human beings is also very strong. This scene on the light curtain is the proof. Qin Yu also showed a satisfied smile. A rare, kind, and warm-hearted refuge like Longzhe deserves a happy ending. Otherwise, what is the meaning of his coming to this world? At the moment, above the light curtain, the words on the paper box have changed. The words "the dragon was here" disappeared. It became "here is the dragon." Since then, the light curtain is closed. This means that the inventory of this collection has officially ended. After some time, Qin Yu ran to the enclosed island. Above, a blue fat man is eating dorayaki happily. Qin Yu was immediately furious. He moved his arms and shoulders. Then he rolled up his sleeves. He walked towards Doraemon aggressively. Not long after, the light curtain opens. 10 Major Divine Anomaly Containment Objects, Number 7. Chapter 154. DC Universe. Diana looked at the 3 words "the dragon is here." For a moment, I was a little dazed. She hasn't understood what beauty is for a long, long time. She didn't even believe that a happy ending would exist. So she was left fighting alone. But, the ending of the dragon here explains it. Beautiful things will definitely exist. Just hold on to hope. Gotham City. Bruce Wayne placed a black box on the table. He opened the box. Suddenly, green light is everywhere. Inside there is kryptonite. Marvel World. Black Continent. Wakanda. Black Panther looked at the scene on the screen, his face full of disbelief. Ever since the containment invasion began, he cancelled his plan to go global. Because he must protect his people. Stay away from dangerous objects and people with bad intentions. Last week, he met a Chaos Insurgency member who wanted to trade. It's called a trade, but they stole a large amount of vibranium from Wakanda. I don't know what I want to use it for. From then on, T'Challa no longer received guests. In the sea very close to Wakanda. There is a powerful and beautiful country. Atlantis. Their king is named Nemo Mackenzie. At the moment Nemo, sitting on the throne. He has a sturdy body, pale skin, and black hair. In his hand, he held a golden trident, a symbol of power. He looked distraught. Recently, the area surrounding Atlantis. The residents there are constantly missing. Nemo sent a large number of soldiers to search. However, all those who were able to find it have turned into lunatics. And, forget everything. This made it impossible for Namor to investigate what exactly happened. This made him extremely distressed. He looked at the curtain of light that appeared above the palace. No way. Atlantis also encountered an abnormal containment object. Think of this. Nemo couldn't help but worry. All along, Atlantis was extremely closed and xenophobic. So, from the beginning to the end, no one outside knew about the existence of Atlantis. The residents of Atlantis were also extremely happy and safe. But now, that security was breached. Namor stood up. He plans to conduct the investigation himself. Whatever it was, it hurt the Atlanteans. All unforgivable. On the light curtain. Alphabet update. Divine Containment 7th place Anomaly Containment 3000 Anand-Shesha Object Class, Thaumiel Description, Anomaly Containment, Anand-Shesha is a huge amount of aquatic serpentine entities looks like a giant moray eel. Its body is estimated to be about 600 to 900 kilometers long. S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick frowned. A new containment, and a new level. 300 kilometers. Nick's eyes suddenly widened. Compared to the Devourer of Worlds, this body type is indeed not very long. But it seems it is the first contained anomaly that lives in water. In that case, the difficulty of containing it must be extremely huge. Moreover, this is a divine container. There must be some terrible ability. Not sure what this new level Thaumiel means. Camartage. The moment Ancient One saw the name. Then I began to think about it. Anand-Shesha is the god in the mythology of the Masala kingdom. Could it be that he is really that god? In the mythology of the Masala country, Anand-Shesha, also known as Ananda Dragon, is an important follower of Lord Shiva. And it was a snake. The light curtain said that the contained object was a snake-like entity. This further verifies Ancient One's idea. If that's the case, what about the strength of Anand-Shesha? It will definitely be extremely powerful. And the chance that 2 consecutive items will be safe. Almost zero. At the moment, the Ancient One suddenly thought. In the sea, there was a country called Atlantis. This Anand-Shesha is an aquatic creature. Will Atlantis be attacked by Anand-Shesha? Think of this. The Ancient One's expression suddenly became worried. However, she was unable to contact the king of Atlantis. I don't know either. Can he see the light curtain? On the light curtain, the information continues to be updated. Abnormal Containment 3000 is generally inactive, and only moves its head under special stimulation or when eating. Most of its body is located in the Ganges sector and it rarely moves. Anomaly Containment 3000 is carnivorous. It rarely moves, but can kill its prey quickly. Although it is huge, it is speculated that Anomaly Containment 3000 does not need nutrients to survive. Wow, Ganges sector? Is this Anand-Shesha really from Masala country? I suddenly feel a little sorry for it. It has been in the Ganges for so long, and its body probably contains the entire periodic table. It doesn't need to eat. It's worthy of being a divine containment creature. It has already surpassed the category of living creatures. I have a question. If it doesn't need nutrients, why does it kill its prey? Anomaly Containment 3000 will excrete an abnormally thin, sticky, dark gray substance from its skin while feeding on prey. No Y909. This substance can affect memory and is used to make various memory erasing drugs. Anomaly Containment 3000 is a Class 8 cognitive hazardous entity. Direct observation can cause severe psychological changes in humans. If you directly observe Anomalous Containment 3000 or enter the undetermined range around it, you will suffer from headaches, delirium, fear, and even memory loss and tampering. S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick's pupils suddenly shrank. Class 8 cognitive hazard. Although, he didn't know what this meant. But he couldn't be sure. Even the Devourer of Worlds' cognitive hazard level is not even level 8. Cognitive hazard is an extremely terrifying thing. Fortunately, this Anand-Shesha lived in the sea, and there was no one living in the sea. And generally speaking, it doesn't move. If it appears on land, I'm afraid that the entire country's memory will be wiped out or they will go crazy. The profession is horrible. I don't know, how should the Foundation respond? Seabed. Namor brought a group of soldiers with him. Exploring towards the place where the accident occurred. Swimmed a long distance. Nothing happened. But what they don't know is, they have entered Anand-Shesha's sphere of influence. Chapter 155. Atlantis. Inside the palace, Namor's men saw what was on the light screen. Suddenly, a look of extreme fear appeared in his eyes. Could it be that, the one who attacked the residents of Atlantis was this Anand-Shesha, after all? Those residents who survived were either crazy or insane. Either you become extremely dull or lose your memory. Exactly in line with the instructions on the light curtain. Oh no! I have to inform the king immediately. He immediately pressed the communicator. But it rang for a long time. No one answered. He was extremely anxious and dialed over and over again. But Namor just didn't answer. The next moment, saw the contents on the light screen. The man's hands suddenly began to tremble. Namor and his men appeared on the light curtain. This shows they are about to meet Anandashesha. At the moment, Namor holding a trident. Watch carefully any slight movement in the sea. He has extremely strong vision, so he can see everything clearly even in the dark ocean. Ahead, there are only huge amounts of underwater reefs and a few scrap submarines, and not much else. It seems that everything is normal. However, the people under the light curtain were extremely terrified. Because the communicator in Namor's ear. Anxious shouts were heard all the time. Hey, Wong, can you hear me? We've been invaded by a containment object. It can tamper with memories. Be careful. Hey, Wong, you can clearly hear what I say, why don't you respond to me? The subordinate saw that the king was indifferent to his words. I was suddenly panicked. Could it be that the king has been influenced by Anandashesha? This scene is very strange. Clearly, there was no trace of Anandashesha. But its terrifying cognitive hazard ability has already shown its power. Namor's minions. No one could hear the sound of the intercom. Kamartaj. Ancient One couldn't help but frown. Namor is very strong both physically and mentally. In fact, stronger than most superheroes. However, he still had no resistance to Anandashesha's cognitive hazards. Moreover, he was affected even though he didn't even see Anandashesha. Level 8 cognitive hazard, it's so terrifying. Above the light curtain, Namor suddenly frowned. He felt a little confused. Lost direction. But this is totally unreasonable. Because the ocean is his home. He looked back. Trying hard to remember where Atlantis is. But I can't remember anything at all. Which direction did he come from? The location of the fish school. These were things he had already memorized by heart. I can't remember it at all. What's even more terrifying is, Namor felt it. I am gradually forgetting their existence. That is to say, he would soon forget what Atlantis was. Think of this. This extremely determined man. He actually showed a look of fear. He loved Atlantis and its people. It would be better to kill him than to let him forget these things. Hey, you guys, Namor called out to his entourage. He wanted to confirm whether they had also forgotten the direction they came from. But they didn't respond at all to Namor's shouts. Namor was stunned. Hey, can't you hear me? He grabbed one of them by the shoulder, forcing him to face Namor. The man's face was full of dullness. He seemed very confused. Hey! What's wrong with you? Namor shook his shoulders desperately. He was clearly feeling the pain. However, there was no other response. He wouldn't respond to what Namor said. At the moment, Namor suddenly thought of a possibility. Have they forgotten how to hear? If that's the case, that monster, whoever it is, it's all too scary. It can actually make people forget their instincts. Next, will they forget how to think? Even, how to breathe? Namor just thought of this. Suddenly, all soldiers. They all covered their throats. Expression is the pain of struggle. They did not scream. Because, they forgot how to make sounds. At the moment, far away, a pitch-black object that resembles a snake appears suddenly. Chapter 156. Under the light curtain. Everyone was suddenly terrified. Hey, what's going on? It looks like they've all been living underwater. Why can't they breathe? No. Could it be that Anandashesha's abnormal effect caused them to forget how to breathe? Is this true? Is a level 8 cognitive hazard so terrifying? It can make people forget their instincts. Oh my god, this is too scary. I feel like I can't even breathe properly. Fortunately, this thing is an aquatic creature. If it were on land, I can't imagine it. There's no way to contain this thing, right? Even these mermaids can't get close to it, let alone humans. Stark building. Tony thought for a moment. It seems that there is no way to contain this horrible thing. But we can't let it stay there forever. Otherwise, those poor underwater residents will suffer. Tony looked at the anti-god armor he was developing. If I pilot my suit in the background, can I help the Foundation contain this Anandashesha? He took a deep breath. He still feels guilty about creating Ultron last time. If he helped contain a divine object, that can be considered as making up for the mistake. Think of this. Tony took the elevator. Came underground. There. It stores the Titan armor he had developed previously, which can work underwater for a long time. This armor looks very similar to Nautilus, just without the huge amounts of anchor. In the light curtain, Namor was extremely anxious. Hey, wake up! These people, they are all Namor's best men. Followed him for many years. He really didn't want them to die like this. Still in this way. But they were still in great pain. Even already foaming at the mouth. Keep going like this. In less than a minute, they will become completely brain dead due to lack of oxygen. Damn it! Namor was at a loss. He can control the flow of water, but he couldn't control the oxygen. Suddenly, the men stopped struggling, breathing deeply. It seems that the ability to absorb oxygen has been restored. Namor let out a breath. He really thought he was going to lose them. Suddenly, those people turned around one after another, staring at Namor. Namor was stunned. What are you doing? The next moment, they raised their weapons. He stabbed towards Namor. Fortunately, Namor reacted quickly. Retreat backward. Avoided the attack. Are you crazy? Namor's chest heaved violently. He didn't expect it. These loyal subordinates. He actually drew his sword against me. This must have been influenced by Anandashesha. Namor didn't have time to think. These men surrounded Namor. They brandished their weapons, attacking Namor madly. Namor constantly dodged. Did not fight back. Wake up, have you forgotten who I am? On Namor's body. He was chopped down soon. Then, there were wounds one after another. The blood flowed into the cold sea water. They haven't stopped attacking yet. I'm sorry. Namor finally started to fight back. Boom. He punched one of his men in the abdomen. Suddenly, the man drifted away into the distance along the ocean current like a kite with a broken string. Suddenly, a trident pierced directly into Namor's shoulder. Namor endured the severe pain. Pull it out. Then, he held the trident in reverse grip. Sweep one with the halberd. Overthrow all the soldiers. The remaining 2 soldiers still refused to give up. Rushed over. They were kicked one by Namor. Kick them all over. Namor gasped. He did not use lethal attacks against his men at the moment. But those people were limp and drifted away along with the ocean current. Namor was stunned. He hurried after them. Hey, what's wrong with you guys? Namor was a little flustered. But those men has stopped breathing. Namor didn't give up and checked the next person. But every one of them, all have lost their lives. Namor suddenly felt sad. He never expected it. Anandashesha is so despairing. He hadn't even seen it yet. He has already lost all his men. Namor is extremely angry now. He did not understand why Anandashesha came to disturb the peaceful life of Atlantis. Now, there is no turning back for him. There was no way he could face his people as a loser. It is even more impossible to allow Anandashesha to harm his own people. And even if he wanted to go back, I can't do it either. Because I have completely forgotten the way I came. Moreover, he had completely lost his hearing. I couldn't even hear what was on the intercom. Now, the only way is to kill this Anandashesha. Namor is willing to do anything for his people, even at the cost of one's life. He endured the severe pain from the wound. Picked up the trident. Heading into the depths of the ocean. Oh my god, this man still refuses to give up. Does he want to kill Anandashesha? How is it possible? Anandashesha is a divine refuge. We can only say that he is very courageous. If this continues, he won't even be able to touch Anandashesha and will be killed by the cognitive hazard. Well, I can only respect him as a man. It seems that he will not give up. Camartage. The Ancient One stared at the light curtain in disbelief. I never thought that this Anandashesha could make Nemo's men turn against him. If Nemo was closer to Anandashesha, he would definitely be affected by him. Even if he was strong, he would not be able to withstand it. If that happens, Atlantis will lose their king and their faith. The Ancient One wanted very much to help Namor. But it's a level 8 cognitive hazard, even the Ancient One can't withstand it. We can only hope that the Foundation will find a way to contain Anandashesha as soon as possible. Xavier's school. In the room. Qin looked much better. For a long time, the other personality did not appear again. It's as if it had disappeared. Qin also hopes that the Phoenix will disappear completely. But this is just hope. At this moment, he looked at the light curtain worriedly. Anandashesha. She muttered to herself, reciting this difficult-to-pronounce name. These divine containments are more terrifying than each other. Yes, each one is more terrifying than the other. Suddenly, the voice of Phoenix appeared. Qin's pupils suddenly shrank. Why, did you come out? Oh, don't you welcome me? Qin? This makes me so sad. Phoenix's voice was full of sarcasm. The next moment. Phoenix personality. It took over Qin's body. Ah! This body makes me feel extremely happy every time. Qin's eyes were shining with golden light. Anandashesha, a body fluid that can erase memory, very good. Qin showed an evil smile. Don't be afraid, Namor, I'm here to help you. Suddenly. Divine fire lingers around Qin. Boom. She rushed forward. That thickened wall is as fragile as tofu. A bright meteor streaked across the sky at an extremely fast speed. Go in the direction of Anandashesha. Chapter 157. College. Jin. Logan ran to the room where Qin was just now. Now. All the exhibits in the room were burned by the powerful phoenix fire. The smoke was still coming out. The room was in ruins. It even affected the area within a radius of about 10 meters. Fortunately, there are no other mutants living nearby. Otherwise it would be really tragic. Roger looked extremely worried. He doesn't understand. Why has the piano been stable for so long? Why did it happen at this moment? And, the direction Qin was flying. It was obviously the direction of Anandashesha. Could it be that she was looking for it? This made Logan extremely anxious. If the power of the Phoenix cannot stop Anandashesha's cognitive hazards, then Qin will. Logan didn't dare to think further. Even if Qin managed to survive, he will also cause immeasurable damage to the world. After all, there is an evil personality living inside her. Camartage. The Ancient One felt it. Phoenix Force is heading towards Anandashesha. Phoenix, why are you doing this? The Ancient One pondered. The Phoenix has been stable for so many days but has not been born. It happened on the day when Anandashesha appeared. There must have been something about Anandashesha that attracted her. Could it be because of its body fluids? But what does Phoenix want it to do? One way or another. If the Phoenix could really hurt or even kill Anandashesha, then the people of Atlantis would be saved. However, Phoenix might do other troublesome things. In the light curtain, Namor's expression was extremely determined. He was moving forward. The audience could clearly see that there was nothing in front of Namor, not even a single fish. Nemo had no idea what would happen after he met Anandashesha. He didn't even know if he would fall before he encountered it. But he had no choice. I don't want to choose either. He can feel it. Ahead, the mental pressure was growing stronger and stronger. Therefore, he was able to determine in which direction Anandashesha was. To his surprise, in front, various fishes constantly swam by. Wouldn't these fish be affected by that monster? Namor continued on. There are more and more fish ahead. Even communities have emerged. Namor suddenly felt that powerful feeling of oppression seemed to disappear. And the impact he himself had suffered seemed to be slowly recovering. He originally thought, as the cognitive hazards become stronger, more problems will arise in your body. But he felt more and more comfortable. My hearing is slowly returning. He could now hear the mournful cries of the whale ahead. He also saw large schools of fish swimming past him. Namor now feels a little regretful. If he had known this, he would not have come alone. Instead, he brought a few of his loyal subordinates with him to kill the monster together. But Namor had a strange feeling. They seemed to have come with me? I must have remembered it wrong. Namor shook his head and continued on his way. Namor was feeling better and better. All the negative influences on my body seemed to have disappeared. It seems. There is nothing scary about that monster. Ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha, you weak creature. When I find you, I will tear you into pieces. He was extremely excited as he watched the schools of fish pouring out around him. He is full of confidence now. If I ever encounter that monster, I'll be able to kill it easily. But the audience under the light curtain all showed expressions of fear. Because Namor on the light curtain. Under him, the body of an extremely huge snake-like creature was lurking there. There are no fish around at all. The other side, above sea level, Qin's body was burning with blazing flames. She can feel it. Anandashesha, right below her. The so-called gods, hee. Qin said at an extremely fast speed. Dive into the sea. Go straight to Anandashesha. Chapter 158. Ha 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 ha, ah ha ha ha. Namor took a forward posture. Looks extremely excited. But he just kept going around in circles. Under him, a few hundred meters away, it is the body of Anandashesha. It looks like it's the tail. This made the audience shudder with fear. He was afraid that Anandashesha would discover him and suffocate him. Oh my god, he is completely delirious now. He can't even see Anandashesha underneath him. I bet he'll eat it, Anandashesha. Speaking of which, Anandashesha really doesn't move at all. But even so, I still find it terrifying. I think so too. It's so terrifying even when it's still. If it really moves, I'm afraid that Atlantis will be destroyed in an instant. At the moment, in the sea, suddenly there was light. The light became stronger and stronger. Just see. Qin came straight towards Anandashesha. The fire in her. It is not affected by sea water at all. It burns very violently. She saw the body of Anandashesha. And Namor spinning madly above. She was so close to Anandashesha. I felt an incredible amount of mental pressure. Ah, I didn't expect that. I could actually feel such pressure. As expected of a divine containment. Isn't this the Phoenix? Why is she here? FK, you see, she doesn't seem to be affected by Anandashesha. Yet, she seems to be behaving normally. Is she so strong? She can resist level 8 cognitive hazards. She seems to have the ability of mind control, right? She used it when fighting the undying lizard. So she has the ability to resist cognitive hazards. S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick was shocked. Qin. What is she doing here? Is she possessed by the Phoenix again? Qin is seen to be unaffected by the cognitohazard. Nick was even more shocked. She can even resist a level 8 cognitive hazard. In that case, can she kill this Anandashesha? There is a way to accommodate Qin Ji. But this Anandashesha. Nick believed that the Foundation wouldn't mind if it could be killed. What's the point of keeping such a horrible thing? At the moment, in the Stark building, Tony sat at the console. He had a helmet on his head. And the other side, seabed. A huge amounts of warframe are on the way. And Tony is controlling it remotely. This, he thought, would avoid the cognitohazard. After all, he himself did not come into Anandashesha's sphere of influence. The abnormal spectra are displayed on the screen. Anandashesha is just ahead. Tony took a deep breath. Use your mind to control the armor forward. At the moment, Tony felt a slight headache. He didn't care. I thought I didn't sleep well last night. At the moment, Tony saw from a distance. An extremely huge object is right in front of us. Tony took a deep breath. Preparing to control the armor to move forward. Suddenly, he felt a strong dizziness. Ugh, damn it, what's going on, ah. The next moment. Incredibly severe pain. Coming like a tide. Tony screamed. This pain was beyond his endurance limit. He wanted to take his helmet off. But it's impossible. His eyes were filled with bloodshot red. The whole body began to spasm. The next moment, a strong hand took off Tony's helmet. Then, put a white pill into Tony's mouth. Tony gasped. The color gradually returned to his face. That's a Class 8 cognitive hazard. You're really brave. I knew you would do something. Tony heard a very familiar voice. He saw the person coming. I was stunned for a moment. But, Tony, you can do us a favor and use this suit of yours. In the light curtain, Phoenix ignored Namor. Constantly moved towards Anandash's body. And, observe it carefully. Trying to find its body fluids. The further you go, the more mental pressure Qin felt. Damn, what's going on? When approaching Anandash's head, Qin suddenly felt a headache. The pain became more and more severe. So much so that she had to stop. Saved the head. Damn, Why? She wanted to swim back. But it can't move at all. Now. Her headache had reached its tolerable limit. Her body began to twist. Crying loudly. This pain is unimaginable. Let her beg for death. It is even more powerful than Wanyu Angel's neurotoxin. Anandash's cognitohazard. Let Qin think she has a headache. Moreover, there is divinity in Qin's body. So the level of pain she could feel. Several times higher than ordinary people. This made her feel like she was dying. Qin. Logan was extremely anxious. But he couldn't do anything. If the Phoenix dies, then Qin's body will also die. Scott standing by was so anxious that he was about to cry. Damn Anandashesha. At the moment, Anandashesha's head moved. And turned towards Qin. Logan's eyes suddenly trembled. He looked at Anandashesha and opened his mouth. He was about to swallow the piano into his stomach. Chapter 159. FK, is this what Anandashesha really looks like? It's so scary, this big mouth. I'm suffering from thalassophobia just by looking at it. My god, Phoenix looks like a pea in comparison. I feel that this Anandashesha is the most oppressive containment. Although Leviathan and the Devourer of Worlds are larger, but in the Dark Sea, an eel with a level 8 cognitive hazard and a mouth over 1,000 meters long wants to swallow you. It's too scary. This Phoenix will definitely not be able to escape. In the light curtain, Anandashesha opened his huge mouth and gradually approached the harp. Going to devour her. Looks like. Anandashesha was very slow. But in fact, this speed is enough for his body size. What's more, he doesn't need any speed at all. A Class 8 cognitohazardous containment. Once they get close, there is no way the prey can escape. Just at this moment, above sea level, a huge robot landed. It is said to be huge. That's only less than 100 meters high. For Anandashesha, it's all a matter of one mouthful. But this robot seemed to be well prepared. On its hand, holding something. It was a human-shaped cloth bag that was wrapped tightly. The thing inside the bag was struggling desperately. After being affected by a cognitohazard, he struggled even harder. Everyone saw it clearly. On the robot is the logo of Stark Corporation. And the Foundation's logo on the human-shaped bag. S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick's eyes widened immediately. It's him again? Tony? Why is he here again? Nick's heart almost stopped. Tony, this BD, doesn't he know how terrifying Anandashesha's cognitive hazard is? Qin couldn't bear it, so how could he? Tony, could you just for once, not bother the containment? Nick couldn't help but cover the back of his head. The expression was very terrified. He was afraid that Tony would be swallowed up by Anandashesha. The more likely scenario is, before being digested, it will be tortured to brain death by cognitive hazards. But Nick then saw the struggling sack. The Foundation logo above. The Foundation is coming. Nick's fear was slightly relieved. If the Foundation takes action, maybe. Have they taken appropriate measures? But Nick just couldn't figure it out. How is the Foundation going to help Tony avoid a Class 8 cognitive hazard? Could it be, relying on Zhao Zena again? What's in that cloth bag? Keep squirming? Could it be, a living person? Xavier's school. Si Qin is about to be swallowed. Logan is about to despair. But the Foundation came and gave him hope again. Please, Foundation, rescue Jean. Seeing Logan looking desperate, Scott was stunned. Hey, Logan, is she your wife or my wife? Above the light curtain. Under the extremely nervous gaze of the crowd. Tony's robot. The struggling cloth bag was thrown directly into Anandashesh's abyss-like mouth. Look at Anandashesh's rows of teeth. Tony on the other side couldn't help but shudder. He has no fear of the deep sea. But this scene would make anyone shudder. Thank you, D-Class. Tony hugged the unconscious Qin. Then, 6 exhaust vents protrude from the back. Boom. The foam spurted out. Powerful power. Let the robot quickly move away from Anandashesha. In the middle. The robot's arm flew out. He grabbed Namor, who was still spinning. And you can see it on the light curtain. Anandashesha's mouth slowly closed. Moreover, it slowly turned its body back. Then he lay down on the seabed. It seems that he is taking a rest. I don't know if this D-Class personnel can satisfy it. Did they really rescue them? Oh my god, the Foundation really has a way. How did they do that? This is a Class 8 cognitohazard. I guess. Tony is not in that robot at all, so he won't be affected by Anandashesha. Aren't we not affected by the light curtain? Same principle. At the moment, Namor and Jean both woke up. Namor looked around blankly. What happened? Suddenly, he saw the terrifying monster lurking on the seabed. Suddenly, anger arises from the heart. This must be the monster that killed my people. I must destroy it. UH-1 Namor felt dizzy. He was badly injured and exhausted from spinning in circles. Now, treatment is necessary. And Qin was horrified. She couldn't breathe underwater. Struggling desperately. Sorry. The robot put an oxygen mask on her. Qin calmed down. It seems. She returned to her previous state. However, she and Namor had completely forgotten what had just happened. The other side. Stark building. Tony was sitting in a chair, controlling the robot on the light screen. His head was covered in Scarlet Origin magic power. Wanda stood behind him. Use Origin magic power to protect him from cognitive hazards. Because Tony was very far away from Anandashesha. Therefore, the impact of cognitive hazards is not very great. In addition, Wanda's control over Origin magic power is now very mature. So, Tony is able to drive the robot safely. Qin Yu was watching from the side. To avoid any accidents, Tony breathed a sigh of relief. Great, we finally rescued them. What are you going to do with them? Qin Yu thought for a moment. Send Aquaman back to Atlantis. As for Qin, send her to the Foundation. I believe Scott won't mind. Tony, well, good. It's true that the Foundation is better able to contain this dangerous woman. Oh my god. I didn't expect that the Foundation really rescued them. And it made Anandashesha fall into peace. It seems that after it is full, the cognitive hazard on its body will be weakened. Just now, Namor and Phoenix both woke up. Yeah, it's incredible. Who would have thought that Anandashesha's anomalous effects would be weakened when he was full? But this thing still can't be contained. 200 kilometers, still under the sea. Does the Foundation really have to keep sacrificing poor D-Class personnel? It would be good to be able to limit it anyway. At the moment, in the light curtain, a team of agents in diving suits dive underwater, headed to the sea area where Anandashesha is. They did not approach Anandashesha directly, but at a distance from it. Stopped. Start tagging. That's it, after the marking is completed. Many large building materials drop to the marked location. It seems. I want to build a site. I understand. The Foundation wants to establish a temporary site so that it can monitor Anandashesha's movements at any time. Yes, this method is good. It is almost impossible to contain or eliminate Anandashesha. It is estimated that it will take a long time to build these equipment. During this period, as long as the D-Class personnel are fed regularly, there should be no problem. You say, can the cannon on the Unity destroy Anandashesha? It should be possible, but it's not necessary. If a cannon like that is fired into the sea, not only will Atlantis be destroyed, but the entire Earth will probably be flooded by a tsunami. That's all. The Foundation begins work on establishing the Anandashesha site for anomalous containment. If nothing unexpected happens, there shouldn't be any accidents. It took quite a while. The light curtain lit up again. Inventory of the top 10 divine objects, 6th place at the moment. Inside the Foundation base. Qin Yu raised his eyebrows. The next containment object actually appeared in the DC universe. Chapter 160. DC Universe. Maritime. A large fishing boat is fishing on the sea. Various crabs and fish on the boat had piled up into a small mountain. The captain held up a bottle of wine, his face flushed. Ah ha 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 ha, guys, work hard. Try to fill up the entire boat. The crew cheered. They pulled net after net of seafood onto the boat. I don't know why. There has been an especially large amount of seafood lately. And each one is extremely plump. The fisherman's income has increased several times. The captain was extremely happy to see his men working hard. He could already see piles of money waving at him. Suddenly, far away, the center of the ocean slowly bulged up. Seam. There are huge amounts of stuff. It is gradually rising. As that thing got higher and higher, a powerful tsunami rushed towards the fishing boat. The captain was so frightened that he sobered up. Quickly retreat. Things happened too suddenly. The fishermen were all terrified. Some panicked and ran in the wrong direction. Fell directly into the sea. But even staying on the boat would be of no use. The tsunami came too suddenly and too violently. A moment. The boat was overturned and flattened. All the fishermen fell into the freezing cold sea. Under extreme tension and fear. The sea water is so cold. Most people will suffer cardiac arrest immediately. And those who survived. In less than a minute, he would die from hypothermia. But, before they died, I saw an extremely horrifying scene. An extremely huge tentacle. It rolled towards them. It was an enormous octopus. Dozens of times larger than the giant squid. And it appears to be sprawled over huge amounts of a battleship. The octopus was very angry. It used its tentacles to roll all those who fell into the water into its mouth. Then swallow, chew, and swallow hard. Then, on that battleship, the cannon barrel turned and aimed at the wreckage of the fishing boat. Then, boom! Powerful explosion. The fishing boat was completely destroyed without leaving any trace. And the fish on the boat have just been caught. Back to the embrace of the ocean. Marvel World. Qin Yu is worried. If the next containment appears in the DC universe, there was no way he could get through. Unless a channel is found that connects the two universes. Qin Yu thought about it. I couldn't think of any good solution. Suddenly, the fat blue man appeared in his mind. Then, he grabbed the dorayaki that he had prepared long ago. Directly teleport to the island where Doraemon was imprisoned. At the moment, Doraemon was walking leisurely on the island with a smile on his face. Qin Yu was furious when he saw it. Then, Qin Yu flew down. He walked towards Doraemon with big strides. Doraemon saw the dorayaki box in Qin Yu's hand. His eyes lit up immediately. Dorayaki. Yes, Doraemon, dorayaki, do you want to eat it? Qin Yu suppressed his anger. Doraemon's saliva was flowing out. I want to. If you want to eat it, conjure up some useful items for me. Ah, well, you can't force yourself to have this thing. But, dorayaki is indispensable. Doraemon snatched the box. Can't wait to open it. Take out the dorayaki. He opened his mouth. Just when I was about to take a big bite, suddenly I smelled a strange smell. What's the filling of this? Doraemon asked. Qin Yu showed a warm and healthy smile. It's filled with rat meat. Doraemon was stunned. Rat, minced meat. He said that this dorayaki had a familiar yet scary taste. Wow! Mouse! Doraemon cried loudly. He even threw the contents of his pockets out. This anomalous containment object, Doraemon. Even more afraid of mice than Doraemon in the animation. Qin Yu smiled gently. Pick up the mouse-stuffed dorayaki on the ground. He pounced towards Doraemon. Then, keep Doraemon firmly on the ground. Qin Yu stuffed the mouse dorayaki into Doraemon's mouth. Doraemon struggled desperately while begging for mercy. But he was no match for Qin Yu in strength. Please. I don't want to eat a rat, Waa. Then, hurry up and get me something good. Wait. I really do have something good, I really do. Doraemon immediately took out a huge amount of watercolor pen from his universal pocket. Look at this. What is this? Qin Yu still didn't let go of Doraemon. You'll know if you try it. This thing can connect to other worlds. Qin Yu was skeptical. Grab the watercolor pen. Remove the lid. Draw a small circle in the air. Suddenly, the circle turned into a small portal. With a huff. Connected to another universe. Qin Yu moved his eyes closer. Saw the scene on the other side. I saw that it was on the sea. A gigantic octopus. Lying on the battleship. Qin Yu was very satisfied. That thing. This is the next item to be counted. This shows. This pen can connect to the DC universe. At the moment, Doraemon had already run away. Remember to use it sparingly. If the ink runs out, it will take a long time to refill. Qin Yu shook the pen in his hand. This damn blue fat guy has to use some tricks before he is willing to hand over the good stuff. Qin Yu didn't feel guilty at all for bullying Doraemon. This Doraemon is not as cute and considerate as in the animation. On the contrary, very despicable. In the light curtain. The subtitles took a long time. Finally updated. Anomaly Containment 4217 Containment, Bismarck. Object Class, Keter Anomaly Item 4217 integrates the anomalous German battleship Bismarck that sank on May 24, 1942 in a large cephalopod, Anomaly Item 4217b. To generate a new item, Anomaly Item 4217b has a pair of octopus eyes extending from the Bismarck battleship, and 12 appendages extending from the stern opening, about 100 to 200 meters long. Another new containment object. Keter level? It's probably another terrifying thing. Bismarck battleship? Isn't Bismarck that character? Is this thing really that battleship? Oh my god, 200-meter octopus legs? Although not as scary as Anandashesha, an octopus this big must be a divine being. I'm starting to get scared. An octopus that integrates with a battleship? Isn't this an invincible biological weapon? It's not invincible, but no matter how powerful an octopus is, it's still an octopus. It should be able to be suppressed with powerful firepower, right? Don't dream. These anomalous objects are getting more terrifying than the last. This octopus is definitely not simple. Just wait and see. Camartage. The Ancient One looked at the light curtain. Octopus. The Ancient One pondered. She did not underestimate the creature because of its size. The Ancient One remembered a creature that existed in other dimensions and did not belong to any universe. Strictly speaking, it cannot be described as a living thing. All the Ancient One knows is that it is a mysterious and powerful being that resembles an octopus and has tens of millions of tentacles. It peeks into other dimensions, other universes. The previous Devourer of Worlds was a projection of the Supreme Divinity. So, this Bismarck battleship. Could it be a projection of that thing as well? If that's the case, this battleship is definitely not simple. The Ancient One's expression grew serious. DC Universe. Deep in the ocean. Aquaman, Arthur's brother, King of Atlantis, ORM, is sitting on the throne. He recently learned that his half-brother is still alive. Therefore, he was very upset. He values the throne more than anything else. Therefore, he made up his mind. He must bring his brother back. Then, execution. At the moment. Outside the door. A subordinate ran in hurriedly. Report. OM was now very upset. What's the matter? A ship, an octopus ship, appeared in our territorial waters. Chapter 161. OM stood up angrily. Are you kidding me? What octopus boat? The man was terrified. No. Sir, it really is an octopus ship. Moreover, many soldiers were attacked and killed by it. OM looked at the man's horrified expression. Doesn't seem like a lie. Octopus, boat. OM really couldn't figure out what that was. Just at this moment, there was a loud bang. The entire palace shook. The soldiers were shaken and staggered. OM was shocked. He immediately flew out of the palace. Look up. Just see. Many remains of soldiers that were blown up floated down. And above, a submarine suddenly appeared. The rear of a submarine. A huge octopus was lying there. OM was shocked. Really, an octopus boat? OM's expression showed panic. As a marine creature, It has a natural instinct for other marine life. He can feel it. This octopus. Very strong. And full of anger. It seems. The weapons on this submarine can be controlled by an octopus. Moreover, it is very powerful. If you really make it angry, maybe the entire palace will be blown up by it. Huge amounts of sweat beads appeared on OM's head. Definitely, he is in the water. So you can't tell. The other side. Big city. Everyone stopped their hurried steps. Looked at the light curtain in the air. The moment the octopus battleship appeared, everyone exclaimed in amazement. They had never seen an octopus so big. Wow, look, this must be the Bismarck battleship. It really has merged with the octopus. Ha ha ha, the universe next door is so unlucky. First it was the eel, then the octopus, will the next one be the carp? In short, we just hope that this kind of thing doesn't appear in our universe. Otherwise, we'll be in big trouble. What are you afraid of? We have Superman, who can kill all the superheroes next door in seconds. That's right. What Iron Man, Hulk? It's just a matter of one punch from Superman. People in the DC universe have seen the Marvel universe's twists and turns on the screen. So, they know that the Marvel universe is a universe similar to theirs. In the crowd, Clark Kent blended completely into the crowd because he wore glasses. His disguise was so perfect that no one recognized that he was the famous Superman. Just because he wore glasses. Maybe these glasses have some magic. Clark now had a bad feeling. He always had a feeling. Something has appeared on this planet that shouldn't be there. When this octopus appeared on the light curtain, this feeling of his getting stronger. Actually, he has been worried. Will these objects invade this universe one day? No way. This octopus battleship. The other side. Aquaman Arthur was lying leisurely on the beach, watching the light curtain and drinking beer. Although they are both Aquaman, he and Namor are completely two extremes. One who loves his people so much that he is even willing to sacrifice for Atlantis. One who doesn't care about the throne at all, as long as he has wine to drink. Oh, the current king of Atlantis. Arthur stretched. It depends on how you deal with the containment this time. At the moment, Atlantis. The Bismarck battleship was extremely angry. On his body, countless cannon barrels extended out. The shells rained down. Such dense shells. This surprised many Atlantis soldiers. They quickly used shield to defend themselves. But these shells are completely different from human shells. Very powerful. Blow them to pieces along with their shields. OM's body trembled. If he just rushed forward like this, it's also a death. He was just a little stronger than those soldiers. The physical strength is not much higher. It definitely can't withstand a shell of that power. What kind of monster is this? At the moment, this scene caused laughter from the people in the DC universe under the light curtain. Ha ha ha, is the superhero from the next universe so cowardly? Are you scared already? Ha ha ha, he's a king after all, but he lets his soldiers go and die while he himself cowers behind them? It's so funny, seriously. Oh, so disappointing. I thought the heroes from the neighboring universe were quite courageous, but now it seems, tisk tisk tisk. These people have no idea at all. What they love is their life. ORM raised his trident. Let's fight. He decided to fight to the death. Anyway, if you can't kill this octopus, your own country will also be destroyed. There is no point in him being the king. Just at this moment, above sea level, a big circle drawn by a colored pencil appeared on the sea surface. Then, the circle turned into a portal with a whoosh. Chapter 162. Atlantis. Marvel Universe. Aquaman and Namor looked at the underwater palace in the light curtain in disbelief. Although, the types and styles of buildings are different, people look and dress differently. However, Namor was very familiar with the terrain of the seabed there. This is the Atlantis of another universe. See, in the light curtain. The soldiers were blown to pieces by the cannon. Namor frowned. Although those people have no direct relationship with Namor, but they were also born in Atlantis. Namor feels deep sympathy for them. It looks like a pretty big disaster. He looked at the light screen worriedly. Since the Anandashesha incident, Namor fully understood what disaster was. Disasters can strike suddenly, Time unknown. Location unknown. Moreover, it is possible that it is a dimensionality reduction attack. All the abilities you have are like an egg hitting a rock. This feeling. Namor has experienced this deeply. He was lucky to survive. I don't know, the King of Atlantis in the light curtain. Can you defend your home? And survived. This is something that happened in another universe? I never thought that anomalous containment objects would invade other universes. Wow, that's not a nice thing to say. But at least we're not the ones who are unlucky. Yes, finally there is another universe that can help us share the burden. It would be best if all other containments could invade that universe. Oh my god, the thing lying on this ship is an octopus? Is it a biological weapon? It has such powerful firepower. The people under the sea are in such a pity. Their firepower is completely overwhelmed. In the light curtain, the Atlantis soldiers raised their guns and fired. Behind them, powerful cannons were bombarding the Bismarck battleship. Countless blue rays shot towards the warship. However, most of them were suppressed by the powerful firepower of the battleships. It exploded midway. Even if it can hit a battleship occasionally, that's the equivalent of tickling it. The soldiers were simply unable to withstand such firepower. They gradually began to despair. The battleship's shells. Why does it seem like there's endless supply? This continues. Don't talk about them. The entire Atlantis will be razed to the ground. NOM resolutely headed towards the Bismarck battleship. Let's fight! He roared. Controlling the flow of water. Charge forward at great speed. He held up the trident, a symbol of power. It seems like he wants to pierce the Bismarck battleship. He dodged shell after shell. There is really hope. He was getting closer and closer to the Bismarck battleship. ORM gathered his power upon the prong of his trident. The sea water immediately gathered there. However, just at this moment, several cannon barrels were aimed at OM. Boom. Countless shells bombarded OM. Extremely dense. There is no way to avoid it. OM was shocked. What? He quickly retreated. At the same time, he spun the trident desperately. Want to use the water flow to disperse the shells. But the number of shells was simply too many. Suddenly, huge amounts of explosions sounded. The entire sea area was dyed red-orange. OM was blown away by the powerful shockwave. The sturdy armor on his body was shattered. The face has been severely burned. His consciousness became blurred. Indistinctly. He saw it. The guns on the Bismarck battleship were aimed at themselves again. Damn it. OM has no way to avoid the next attack. In that case, he is definitely going to die. Boom. Another salvo of shells was fired. OM watched the shells flying towards him quickly. At this critical moment, suddenly, a strong and powerful figure rushed towards OM quickly. Hugged him. Then he quickly dodged the shells. Boom. Those shells destroy OM's palace instantly. The seabed was once again dyed the color of flames. OM was extremely surprised. He looked at the person who came. Is it you, then? He fainted. Yes, it's me, you're welcome. Arthur sighed. In the end, he still couldn't make up his mind. Abandoning his compatriots and younger brother, he looked at the extremely angry Bismarck battleship. It seems it is determined to raze Atlantis to the ground. Under the light curtain, people in the DC universe were amazed at the power of the Bismarck battleship. Oh my god, this battleship is so strong. It's so sturdy and has such strong firepower. Yeah, I thought these Atlanteans could easily deal with it, but I didn't expect. As expected of a divine containment. I feel that this Bismarck battleship is even stronger than Anandashesha. I think so too. Anandashesha is just a little bigger. He's slow and has a slow reaction. If he encounters a Bismarck battleship, he will probably be blown to pieces. Arthur swam quickly. Took home to the original location of the Bismarck. His chest heaved violently. He is thinking about countermeasures. Just rush forward like this. He would surely be blown to pieces like those soldiers. Just at this moment, an extremely powerful red laser hit Arthur's back. Arthur was hit hard by the light. He suddenly felt a sharp pain. The flesh on his back. Most of them were lifted off. See who's coming. He looked angry. It's you. The other side. The rainbow-colored portal grew to be incredibly huge. The other side. An enormous amount of bronze prows emerge from the portal. Chapter 163. Seaside. Diana looked at the tragic situation of Atlantis on the screen. The sunlight shines on her delicate face. It also highlights her excellent temperament. The power and ferocity of the Bismarck battleship. This really surprised Diana. Looking at the tragic death of the Atlanteans, Diana was heartbroken. After all, thousands of years ago, Atlantis and the Amazons once fought side by side. Although, the relationship between the two races now can be said to be treading on thin ice. However, Diana still regarded the Atlanteans as comrades. She decided to do something. Actually, she came here specifically to see Arthur. It's just that I happened to see the scene. Then, she stretched her shield across the sea. Jumped up. That's all. Use the shield as a surfboard. Heading towards the Bismarck battleship. The other side. Arthur was in great pain and had lost too much blood. My vision has begun to blur. After all, he wasn't wearing any protective gear. And this ray of light is extremely powerful. He gasped and protected the unconscious OM behind him. He looked at the person who came. It's you. One was dressed in black armor. The frogman with two huge red eyes on his head slowly walked towards Arthur. Its feet were on the water and there was no sign of sinking. Yes, it's me. Manta opened his arms. You killed my father. Now, it's time to pay for your life. Your father's death. Ahem. It was all his own fault. You just transferred your hatred to me. The manta ray was stunned for a moment. Then, he dropped his arms and stared at Arthur. Seems irritated. Damn it, you're still being stubborn. I'll send you to hell right now. Manta ray eyes condensing a strong red light. Arthur gritted his teeth. He was seriously injured. There was absolutely no way he could dodge this attack. Even if he could dodge it, will suffer too. Go to hell. Before Arthur could think too much about it, the light in a manta ray's eyes shot it out violently. Arthur's face turned red. He subconsciously used his arms to block the rays. But, it's useless. This shot will definitely kill him. Boom. There was a violent explosion of light. And Arthur didn't feel any pain. I was just bumped by someone and took a few steps back. He opened his eyes in surprise. Just see. Ahead. A tall woman holding a shield blocked a fatal blow for Arthur. Due to the impact, Arthur was knocked back by her. Diana showed an extremely heroic look. Hey, hi Nan, are you okay? I'm fine, do we know each other? It doesn't matter. Diana yelled. Jumped into the air. She had to get close to the manta ray. Try to attack him with your blade. Otherwise, he will just keep emitting rays. Diana stepped on the shield and used it as a pedal. Rapidly approaching the manta ray. The manta ray suddenly panicked. His equipment is good, but he doesn't have strong physical skills. He also didn't expect that someone could glide on the sea with the help of a shield. So he took hurried steps away from Diana. Then, a fierce beam of light shot out. Diana leaped into the air, perfectly dodging the light. Then, it drew a graceful arc in the air. It landed steadily back on the shield. This move caused the audience under the light curtain to exclaim in surprise. This is our superhero. So handsome. So strong. Wow, she's so beautiful, like a goddess from mythology. Come on, kill that black fish. Look, what is that? It looks like a bronze ship. Holy shit. A space crack has been opened directly. Oh my god, am I dazzled? This ship seems to come from another dimension. There seems to be a terracotta warrior standing on the bow. Marvel Universe. Steve Rogers looked at Wonder Woman's beautiful figure in disbelief. The combat experience and decision-making abilities she displayed were far beyond Steve's reach. This body of flesh and blood must be the Grand Warlock Ion. What am I talking about? Steve slapped his head hard. Ever since he came back from that manor. Sometimes I say these words unconsciously. And it felt quite natural to him. It was as if he had always wanted to say it. Natasha Romanoff, who was standing by, saw what Steve did. Sighed secretly. His symptoms were exactly the same as Steve's. And she felt it. Somewhere in the universe, something is gradually approaching. In the light curtain, most of the Qin dynasty spaceships have already sailed out of the portal. See the scene in front of you. Qin Yu couldn't help but get a little excited. He came to the universe where Bruce Wayne was. But now, this is not the time to think about this. He looked not far away. Diana is fighting a manta ray. At the moment, Qin Yu commanded batch after batch of bronze terracotta warriors to board the deck. Let me see your combat abilities. Qin Yu snapped his fingers. A terracotta warrior raised his halberd. Aim for the manta ray's head. Chapter 164. S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick's pupils suddenly shrank. The Foundation is here? Are they coming to another universe? Nick felt incredible. Is there anything the Foundation can't do? Can we go to another universe? Isn't this the bronze battleship? It's put to use so soon. A few days ago, the bronze battleship suddenly appeared next to the SHIELD spacecraft. So the spacecraft followed it all the way to the vicinity of the Foundation base. Naturally, the Foundation took it into custody. Nick didn't dare to complain. He just doesn't understand. Why is the Foundation so lucky? Get something that comes in handy every time. It was as if there was someone helping me. Nick really wants to see it now. This bronze ship fought a fierce battle with the Bismarck battleship, which had such fierce firepower. Which one wins? After all, this bronze spaceship is beautiful though. But it still looks quite primitive. Can a bronze spaceship withstand the attack of artillery fire? Nick thought so. However, the Foundation always brings surprises. They can bring hope no matter how hopeless the situation. Maybe it's the same this time? The Foundation. This must be the Foundation's ship. Oh my god, so cool. It just tore through space and came out. Oh my god. Look at the terracotta warriors above. This should be a ship from the Qin dynasty. It's so handsome that my heart stops. Oh my god, this is obviously our Korean ship. The Foundation has plagiarized our culture. It's cool, but I have a question. Did the Qin dynasty have the ability to build a bronze ship of this size? What I find even more surprising is, how can a bronze ship float on the sea? And at such a high speed? It seems that the ancient times really hid many secrets. What I'm more worried about is whether bronze can withstand the firepower of the Bismarck battleship. It would be embarrassing if it was sunk by a single shot. Yes, this octopus battleship is a divine containment object after all. Stark building. Before, the moment Tony saw the octopus battleship, I felt an inexplicable sense of nausea. Disgusting flesh and blood are combined with pure machinery. Such a creation deserves God's punishment. Just came up with this idea. Tony was extremely confused. He didn't know why he had such an idea. Could it be the influence of the broken god again? The moment Tony saw the bronze battleship, his breathing hitched. Because this was the most beautiful creation he had ever seen. Stunning beauty. In the light curtain, Diana constantly avoids the rays of manta rays. And she is very fast. The manta ray also knew that once she got close to him, he would be doomed. So he retreated desperately. After all, manta rays are equipped specifically for fighting on water. So, for a moment, Diana couldn't catch up with the manta ray. Is this what you do? Hey? Help a murderer. The manta ray fired a ray. It hit the shield under Diana's feet accurately. With a bang, the shield was blown away instantly. Diana was left without support. She had to fall into the water. The manta ray laughed wildly, ha 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 ha, then he shot at Diana wildly. Diana raised her arms. Use the armor above for defense. But it's becoming increasingly difficult. Moreover, part of her hair was burnt. Arthur looked anxious. But he had no choice. Ah, no way, the goddess is actually going to lose. I didn't expect that we were in the upper hand at the beginning, but we turned to the offensive so quickly. After all, that black fish is specialized in fighting in the sea, and this goddess is a land creature once she's hit. What can I do? Look, that ship is coming this way. Could it be a Foundation ship? I guess this ship will be pierced by a laser from the blackfish. What era is this? Are ships still made of bronze? Ha! Manta roared. Suddenly. Extremely strong light. Keep shooting out of the eyes. Diana's arms were forced up to her face. Her face had been burned by the scorching heat on her forehead. Moreover, the body is gradually sinking. The manta ray laughed crazily, ha ha ha, whether you are Atlanteans or Amazonians, you all deserve to die. Ha ha ha. Ugh. PSST. Suddenly. Manta felt it. A sharp pain. He looked down. A huge amounts of halberd. It went through his body. Because the halberd handle was so large, it tore his body into pieces. Blood gushed out. My intestines are pouring out. No, how can I? Manta fell to his knees. Not moving. The tip of the halberd just hit the ground, preventing him from falling. Diana gasped. Her hair is still smoking. She watched the scene in disbelief. Using a bronze weapon so accurately that it pierced through a heavily armored manta ray? This made her feel incredible. Arthur on the other side widened his eyes. He couldn't believe it. The manta ray was killed so easily. It's like someone accidentally threw a weapon over here. Just stabbed the manta ray to death. Is it made of that bronze ship? Arthur couldn't help swallowing. Now. The bronze ship coming towards this side. It was growing bigger in his eyes. It becomes oppressive. Now. Arthur was a little skeptical. If this ship wasn't coming to help Atlantis. What to do then? However, the ship was heading only towards the Bismarck. It seemed that what just happened was just a trivial matter. Arthur saw it. Those bronze soldiers on the ship. I was stunned for a moment. Could it be these? Looking at those expressionless, exquisitely crafted people, Arthur found it hard to imagine. What kind of technology does this ship have? What is its origin? At the moment, on the bronze battleship, the terracotta warriors are on full alert, each performing their duties. Not far away, you can see the wildly dancing octopus tentacles on the Bismarck. Suddenly, on the Bismarck, artillery fire roared. In an instant, countless artillery shells attacked the bronze warship like a storm. Chapter 165. Allow the author to explain what is going on. To put it simply, the author made a mistake in uploading yesterday and uploaded the article to be modified as a new chapter. I believe everyone knows that the author wants to change something he wrote before into Thulhu. You can read the previous chapter first, which has been uploaded. This way the plot can be connected. I'm so sorry. I really didn't mean it. Therefore, the author will update more chapters today and tomorrow as compensation. That is to say, the new chapters updated today have a total of more than 8,000 words, fourth update, tomorrow will also be more than 8,000 words, fourth update. The reason I put it at the beginning is because I'm afraid you won't see it. Don't worry, this paragraph is about 200 words and is not counted in the extra update. In other words, more than 800,200 words today. Marvel Universe. S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick's eyes widened in disbelief. The scene where the bronze halberd pierced through the manta ray's body. It's so shocking. At that time, Nick thought Diana was really going to die. Unexpectedly. The next moment, the manta ray, which had the advantage, was directly pierced. And? Or was he hit by a halberd? The Foundation, how come they always get such monstrous things? Nick was envious again. It felt incredible again. Camartage. The Ancient One gave a look of admiration. As a magician, she was neither bewitched by Grand Warlock Ion nor influenced by the Broken God. Some of them are just admiration for the ancient yet advanced technology. She could see that. Those terracotta warriors are completely driven by gears. There is no magic. Pure technology. Such exquisite technology. It's hard to imagine. What a prosperous era it would be during the heyday of this civilization. And what was the reason for the demise of that civilization? The Ancient One doesn't think so. This ship came from the Qin state. Or say, the real appearance of the Qin state. It is totally different from what is said in the history books. Bronze and gears. The Ancient One pondered. Above the light curtain, countless shells attacked the bronze warship. Suddenly, the audience under the light curtain held their breath. They couldn't help but doubt. This bronze warship. Can it withstand such powerful artillery fire? Arthur and Diana on the side. Also staring at the scene blankly. Now. capable of defeating the Bismarck. There is only this battleship. If it fails, Atlantis will definitely perish. On the battleship, the terracotta warriors remained calm in the face of the rapidly incoming artillery fire. They operated the ship's ballistas, aiming at the shells in the air. Boom! Powerful flames flashed. The sound of metal colliding was deafening. Suddenly, the crossbow fired rows of giant arrows. Those arrows accurately hit every cannon fired by the Bismarck. Suddenly, in the air, countless explosions occurred violently. The fire dyed everything red. The sea surface has sunken due to huge amounts of shockwave. Violent waves bombarded the Bismarck and the bronze battleship. Even Arthur and Diana, who were far away, were blown away. But whether it is the Bismarck or the bronze battleship, not a single move. This shocking scene caused a burst of exclamations from the people under the light curtain. My God, did the bronze warship intercept all the shells with just crossbows? A crossbow. It may seem primitive, but it is really not easy to hit every shell so accurately. It might really be able to destroy the Bismarck. Marvel Universe. Humi looked at the light curtain, full of fanaticism. Great gear, ah! Great Snake Father! All your creations are so beautiful and powerful. Loki on the side. Seeing Humi's appearance, I couldn't help but snort coldly. He has always been disgusted by it. Such reverence for a virtual god. Did you see that? Damn Ion! This is the power of machinery. Look how this gear ship tears apart that flesh and blood ship. Humi became more and more excited. As long as you see any part or creation of the broken god, he will become like this. He is completely different from his usual gentle and polite self. At the moment, one of Humi's men ran over. Sir, we have discovered the possible location of Tegzu. Humi turned around immediately. Let's go now. Head to Tegzu. He smiled gently and looked at Loki. Mr. Loki, shall we go? The parts of the broken god may be in the void. Loki almost got goosebumps. He stood up reluctantly. Caught up with them. This person must be a psychopath. Loki thought. However, what they don't know is, Thor came to Earth early. Now, he followed them. Loki, what are you doing? Thor looked at Loki in the distance worriedly. Before, he discovered that Loki was still alive. He hurried to the Earth. Want to find Loki and confront him face to face. Ask him what he wants to do. But now, see these strange people. Thor decided to follow them first to see what their conspiracy was. After the baptism of the immortal evil lizard, Thor is much wiser now. He is no longer a reckless man. Actually, he really wanted Odin to come along. But the honorable father of the Nine Realms has more important things to do. Thor followed them at a distance. Very cautious, in order not to be discovered by them. But what Thor didn't know was, he is being followed by Chaos Insurgency. These people have been eyeing the broken church for a long time. They are well equipped and numerous. They are waiting for an opportunity. Take down the broken church in one fell swoop. In the light curtain, the bronze battleship and the Bismarck battleship engaged in a fierce battle. The bronze warship fired countless explosive arrows and frost arrows. The barrels of the ship's guns were also made of bronze. Launch countless bronze bombs. Some strong terracotta warriors also began to draw their bows and shoot arrows. These arrows are no ordinary arrows. Very powerful. The Bismarck battleship was not at all inferior. Shells, missiles, bullets. Shoot towards the bronze battleship. Neither side gave in to the other and neither wanted to lose. The sky was dyed red by the flames of the explosion. Whirlpools appeared on the sea surface. However, these two warships are extremely tough. Not affected at all. Even if you are occasionally hit by the enemy's artillery shells or arrows. Basically only a few scratches will be left. An explosive arrow hit the octopus's tentacle accurately. But it didn't even pierce the skin and was bounced back directly. Then, it exploded in the water. Gears splash. The octopus saw that its firepower seemed to pose no threat to the bronze spaceship. Even more angry, it roared. Suddenly, the deck was cracked in the middle. A huge missile covered in flesh and blood, beating like a heart, directly opened the deck. Appeared on the boat. The octopus exerted all its strength. Suddenly, missile launch brought out large pieces of meat and blood. The missile flew towards the bronze battleship. Qin Yu immediately put down the Neon Health comic book in his hand. He looked at the missile. He knew that if the bronze battleship was hit by this attack, I'm afraid it might really be destroyed. So he clapped his hands twice. Suddenly, an enormous terracotta warrior, nearly 100 meters high, quickly rose from the deck. It draws the bow and shoots the arrow at an extremely fast speed. That arrow was over 70 meters long. Whooshing tearing air sounds were heard. The giant arrow is about to collide with the missile. Arthur's pupils suddenly shrank. If they explode, I'm afraid it will be dozens of times more powerful than a nuclear bomb. I'm afraid the two ships will be destroyed along with Atlantis. Homie, the strongest attack of the flesh ship versus the strongest attack of the gear ship. How exciting! Chapter 166. In the air. Two destructive forces are about to collide. Everyone under the light curtain held their breath. It's over, we're going to crash. Where is Superman? Superman, we need you. What this person doesn't know is, Superman, you can't get away now. At the moment, in the toilet, Bruce Wayne, wearing heavy armor, punched Clark in the face. With a bang, Clark was hammered and flew out. Slam it hard against the wall. Clark felt severe pain. He was affected by kryptonite. Both strength and defense are greatly reduced. And Bruce is wearing armor with enhanced strength. And the whole toilet, all filled with poisonous kryptonite radiation. Clark could not recover no matter what. Bruce panted and walked slowly towards Clark. Did you see that bronze warship? That is the wisdom and courage of mankind. Bruce grabbed Superman by the collar. Clark struggled desperately. But Bruce still lifted it above his head. Bruce, human beings are great, boom. Bruce slams Clark to the ground. Suddenly, severe pain spread throughout my body. Clark almost fainted. Bruce stepped on Clark's chest. Any last words, Superman? Clark coughed twice. We have to stop, those two ships, otherwise, Atlantis will. Stop being hypocritical, Kryptonian. Bruce pulled out the kryptonite spear from his back. Have you ever thought about the hundreds of thousands of people you killed on Earth? Have you ever thought about how many children you made lose their parents? Bruce raised his spear. He was about to stab Clark in the chest. Clark was seriously injured. There is no way to avoid this attack. Ah! Bruce stabbed downwards with all his strength. Suddenly. Boom! An extremely powerful vibration. Throw Bruce flying. This is a honey toilet filled with Kryptonian radiation. It was also completely shattered by the earthquake. Suddenly, Clark felt it. That suffocating kryptonite air. It is gradually disappearing. His strength is gradually recovering. Bruce immediately stood up. He quickly picked up the kryptonite spear. Rushing towards Clark. Clark's eyes shone with light. The spear was broken in one shot. Then, Clark at a very fast speed rushed to Bruce. Grabbed him. Pulling him away from the Kryptonian spear. Then, 3 times 5 divided by 2. Tear Bruce's armor into pieces. Bruce, shirtless, faced an angry Clark. He was extremely upset. Just a little bit. He could kill Clark. Bruce closed his eyes. If you want to kill me, then do it. Clark grabbed Bruce's neck and said, listen to me, Bruce, I will not kill you. I hope you understand that I did not choose to come to this planet, and I did not send the enemy here, then. He let Bruce go. Bruce stumbled a few steps due to the huge amounts of force. Almost fell to the ground. Clark flew into the air. Before leaving, he said something. You just hate that you're not me, Bruce then. Clark flew into the air. Go to where the bronze battleship and octopus battleship are. Bruce stared blankly at Clark in the air. Until he disappeared. Not long ago. On the light curtain. The strongest arrow and the strongest missile. Collision in mid-air. The giant arrow penetrated the missile's shell in an instant. Blood and flesh gushed out. But the missile also exploded completely at that moment. Suddenly, the white light enveloped them. But what surprised people was, apart from that, there was no explosion, flame, or mushroom cloud. The light also disappeared at that moment. It was like 2 powerful energies annihilated each other. But shockwave generated by energy annihilation. Still huge. Coastal city. It was a disaster in an instant. Diana raised her shield. But still with Arthur, ORM. They were blown away. He was thrown directly onto the shore. Fortunately, no one was seriously injured. But Arthur was completely unconscious. OM struggled to get up. Looking at the two ships in the distance in disbelief. This level of shockwave. I'm afraid Atlantis no longer exists. The other side. The Bismarck battleship was shaken by the shockwave and rolled over in the sea. But it soon surfaced. The bronze warship shook violently. Some of the terracotta warriors were shaken and fell to the ground. Qin Yu's drink was also spilled. It's time to end this farce. Qin Yu snapped his fingers. The entire terracotta army. Draw the bow. Aim at the octopus's head. The other side. Humetal came to a barren land filled with strange fog. Even the sky was gloomy purple and green. The further forward, the more Loki felt, the more inexplicable fear he felt. What the hell is this place? Loki tried hard to make his voice sound calm. This is Tegzu. As for what secrets are hidden here, Mr. Loki, please follow us. Humi showed his signature beautiful smile. The person who has been following us, it's time for him to show up, right, far away. Thor, who had been following them. I feel the strong evil spirit ahead. Chapter 167. The octopus waved its tentacles desperately. Although, it looks very tired. But there seemed to be no end to its rage. Although, no one knows why it is angry. Perhaps, he hates everything in this world? But, maybe. It's anger, it's time to end. Qin Yu snapped his fingers. Suddenly. On the bronze battleship. Countless arrows were shot into the sky. A rain of arrows fell towards the Bismarck. The octopus desperately urged the flesh and blood. The cannon barrels were aimed at the bronze warship. But there was nothing but muffled sounds. The shells have been used up. Perhaps the shells were made of its flesh and blood. One way or another. It's exhausted. He could only passively let the rain of arrows fall on him. Suddenly, the octopus's body was filled with arrows. Like a quill. It wailed in pain. But the rain of arrows never stopped. Struggle. This is dead? I didn't expect this to be the outcome. He ran out of ammunition and was shot to death. Alas, looking at this Bismarck battleship now, I actually feel a bit sad. It seems that endurance is the key. Explosive power alone is useless. The Foundation is really powerful. They can kill objects across the universe. Fortunately, they are here, otherwise we would be in trouble. Yes, it's too scary. Many coastal cities have been severely damaged. If the Bismarck battleships are allowed to wreak havoc, the entire Earth might be. That's not right. We have Superman. No matter how powerful this Bismarck battleship is, it can't defeat Superman, right? Oh yeah, how could I forget about Superman? With such a big disaster, how come Superman didn't come? At the moment, above the sky, Clark Kent was floating there. He watched the Bismarck battleship sinking. I couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. He had worried before about what would happen if the containment objects invaded this universe. But now it seems the Foundation is very reliable. At the moment, Clark came up with an idea. This Earth needs more superheroes like the Foundation who can help humanity and protect the Earth. Even Superman has weaknesses. However, if we could gather all the talented people in the world together, form an alliance. In this way, can we better protect the Earth? The place of Tegzu. Before Humi entered the strange fog. Finally took a look at the light curtain. The moment you see the octopus battleship sinking. Humi smiled crazily again, ha 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 ha, flesh and blood are as painful as mechanical ascension. In the end, the gears won. Yen, I know you are watching this. Thinking of your frustrated expression, I feel extremely happy, ha 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 ha. This is how Humi looks. It made Thor, who was far away, shudder. These people are all crazy. Qin Yu looked at the Bismarck that had already sunk. Well, it's a divine containment after all, with a regenerative healing factor per capita. How could it die so easily? We have to build another temporary site. Qin Yu stretched, it's good this way, there will definitely be more containment objects invading the DC universe in the future. Let's use Atlantis as our base and build an underwater base. It's just right that I can get the Atlanteans to work for me, that's all. Qin Yu started the plan to build a temporary site. At the same time, Qin Yu and Aum held friendly negotiations. Definitely, there is no reason for Aum to refuse. Because Qin Yu promised to help rebuild Atlantis. Only, when the time comes, the entire Atlantis will become Qin Yu's Foundation base in the DC universe. Still underwater. Since then, the Bismarck was finally contained. Qin Yu was lying in the makeshift underwater palace, watching the mermaids swimming around. Let me see which containment object we're going to invade next. Qin Yu opened the panel. The moment you see the next containment, Qin Yu raised an eyebrow. This is interesting, it's them again. The place of Taegzu. Loki had been in this strange place since the moment he entered it. I broke out in a cold sweat. He felt a chill and gloom from his intuition. Damn it! Loki grabbed Humi's shoulders. What the hell is this place? If you dare to speak in riddles again, I swear. Humi turned his head slowly. Please, let go of your hand, okay? Mr. Loki. Humi smiled stiffly. Loki immediately pulled his hand back. Humi patted the spot on his clothes where Loki had just grabbed him. I do need to explain what is here. Please listen carefully, the strange place is Taegzu, and in Taegzu is Geegzu. Heavens 50 are acceptable, 49 can be tolerated, and one is missing, one is Geegzu. Geegzu is an empty cave. It is so deep that you can't see the bottom, and it is so dark that there is no sunlight. Hear these Martian words. Loki's anger suddenly flared up. He was just about to have a fit. Humi said again, to put it simply, Geegzu is both the starting point and the end point of the world. Although there is an entrance, it is a bottomless pit. No one knows what is inside. Because, Humi suddenly revealed a sinister expression and put his face close to Loki's eyes, no one who has seen Geegzu has ever returned alive. At the entrance to Geegzu, various abnormal phenomena will occur. We call this area Taegzu. Taegzu only appears once every few hundred years. Do you understand now, Mr. Loki? Humi returned to his gentle and elegant appearance. So, you have been exploring an unknown and extremely dangerous place? What's the point? That's wrong, Mr. Loki. Humi's voice softened. This Geegzu is recorded in the Classic of Mountains and Seas. The Classic of Mountains and Seas records those disgusting creations of Yaldabaoth, Nuwa. So, Geegzu must be related to Nuwa. If it is related to Nuwa, it must be related to the Snake Father, the broken god, Fuxi. Presumably, if the damned Yan knew about the existence of Geegzu, he would definitely try his best to stop us. When the time comes, I will definitely dig out her heart. Humi's expression became fierce and he clenched his fists. Thor heard all these conversations clearly. He doesn't understand. But it was a big shock. One way or another, they must be planning a shocking conspiracy. Anyway, stop them too. Rear. The Chaos Insurgency saw this strange place. I guessed what Humi wanted to do. Their commander ordered. We must stop the broken god from returning to the world. They carry a secret weapon from the Chaos Insurgency. The purpose is to kill all the broken church members. However, what no one noticed was, including Humi, in the void, on an enormous tree, a man in a black cloak was sitting on a tree branch. Under her hood, revealing a very white nose and mouth, she only had black robe on, printed with the exclusive logo of the Carnal Church. Under the newspaper, there are 2 words printed on it, which are the ancient language of the Dragon Kingdom. ION. Above the light curtain. Subtitles updated. Inventory of the top 10 divine anomalies 5th place. Chapter 168. Qin Yu looked at the portal on the sea, which was gradually getting smaller and disappearing. He looked at the dried-up portal pen again. He was not panicked at all. Anyway, if he wants to return to the Marvel Universe, he can do so at any time. Moreover, even here, he can control the light curtain. Command a mobile task force. So, he didn't mind living in the underwater palace for a while. Marvel Universe. On the Unity. Tony was wearing a heavy repair mecha. He is working with the Cecilia people to repair the Solidarity. This period of time, Tony took a thorough tour of the Solidarity. He marveled at the wisdom of alien civilizations. At the same time, I learned a lot. It is very helpful for the manufacture of anti-god group armor. The restoration of the Unity is almost complete. Only one engine is left. All over the universe. Inside the Unity spacecraft. Rocket lolled in his seat. Let the little green dragon and the white dragon dance on his nose. Since the dragon has restored peace here, all the dragons have time to come out and play. Rocket thought about it. In fact, the last contained object was the Bismarck spacecraft. It still gave him quite a shock. After all, Rocket has always believed in mechanical ascension. He never thought about it. A living creature that can be integrated with a weapon. And the integration is so perfect. But the moment I saw that octopus, the Rockets developed an inexplicable feeling of disgust. This confused him greatly. Because he actually wanted to admire the object. But the Rockets didn't take it to heart. Because their next stop. It's sovereign. The people there all have golden skin. The priestess there gave them a big job. Go protect the batteries there from being devoured by space slugs. Hear the word battery. Rocket's eyes lit up. Decide to move forward now. That's all. The spacecraft accelerated towards the planet Sovereign. Above the light curtain. Subtitles updated. Anomaly Containment Monica Project No D777777 Object Class, Keter. S.H.I.E.L.D. The moment I saw the subtitles, Nick Fury was stunned. Number D77777? What does this mean? Before, they were just simple numbers, and at most a few thousand. This collection of objects has directly reached tens of thousands. Besides, it's another Keter Class 1. Nick took a deep breath. He doesn't know. This containment object will appear in this universe or another universe. Generally speaking, this new number, or new level, usually means nothing good will happen. Subtitles continue to update. Anomaly Containment Monica, originally a D-Class personnel, numbered D77777 after he came into contact with the abnormal containment object, the Supreme Sky Parasite, he began to be able to create weapons such as pistols, rifles, howitzers, etc. Moreover, the development is becoming more and more uncontrollable until you lose your humanity. Note, the parasite of the highest heaven is the supreme divinity this time. After a long time, the light screen did not update the subtitles. Is this a D-Class personnel? Wow, I thought D-Class personnel could only be cannon fodder. This is a real comeback. That's all? Is there so little information on this anomalous containment object? It seems that the Foundation's understanding of this containment object is also very limited. I really don't know whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. In fact, it has been made very clear. After she came into contact with the Supreme Godhead, she gained terrifying power. It's that simple. I just don't know how powerful she will be. Obtaining weapons. Having come into contact with the Supreme God, why does this setting feel so much like a Bismarck battleship? I guess its strength is at least equal to that of Squidward. It's possible that he's as strong as the Devourer of Worlds. Anyway, I have a feeling this object is going to cause a lot of trouble. Camartage. The Ancient One's eyes suddenly widened. Supreme Divinity. Although Ancient One does not know the specific concept of the Supreme Godhead. However, presumably, it must be no less than the 5 abstract gods headed by eternity. As for the power obtained from the Supreme Divinity, just think about it, it would be terrifying. And create weapons such as pistols and grenades. This gave the Ancient One a terrible idea. Will it? What she possessed was not the ability to create weapons. But, the concept of weapon? In that case, it's so terrifying. Just like, the death of one of the abstract gods, her ability is not to create death. She is death originally. It is the embodiment of the abstract concept of death. Yes, death and life both have concrete existences. Why can't weapons have one too? The Ancient One thought so. Her heart. A strong feeling of worry arises. This containment will constantly become stronger. In that case, it's best to stop her in the early stages. Think of this. The Ancient One's expression grew serious. She was tired of just passively waiting for the containment to arrive. This time, she wants to take the initiative. Universe. In the Unity spacecraft. Rocket and Drax laughed. Can you imagine the priestess's expression when she finds out I played a trick on her? Her stinky golden face will turn white and green, ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Drax slapped his thigh, golden from the stinky face, ha 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 ha. Gamera sighed, I really don't know how you can laugh. Do you think the priestess will let it go? Rocket, what are you afraid of? We have the solidarity. Groot, I'm Groot. Quill cleared his throat. It's just that, Gamera, they are not stable at all, unlike me, mature and charming. Gamera, FKU. At the moment, alarms rang loudly inside the spacecraft. Warning, warning, unidentified flying objects are invading. Everyone was shocked. He quickly sat in the cockpit. The origami dragons also landed on Rocket's head. It seems like he is cheering him on. In the realm of Tegzu, Humi felt it. The abyss was getting closer and closer to him. Just at this moment, suddenly, a strange and terrifying figure rushing past him. Chapter 169. Alarm, alarm. Inside the Unity, alarm bells rang loudly. Everyone sat in their respective positions. On the display, countless red spots of light appeared. These dots of light represent enemies. Suddenly, the priestess's large golden face appeared on the screen. Guardians of Galaxy. Stop your spacecraft immediately, or you will pay the price for your shameless behavior. You can hear it. The High Priest was suppressing his anger. Gamera was immediately extremely anxious. What did I say? She won't let it go. Rocket, you shouldn't have stolen those 2 batteries. Quill looked at the aggressive spaceships and said, what should we do now? They can kill us with just one mouthful of spit from us. Rocket stretched his muscles and said, don't panic, this is the Unity. Let's have some fun with them. Woohoo! After saying that, the rocket quickly pressed the start button. Suddenly, the Unity rushed out at an extremely fast speed. Suddenly, Quill was horrified. Rocket, what are you doing? We should surrender and give them the battery. Otherwise we will be killed. Look at you, you're such a coward. Rocket sneered, just wait and see, the potential of the Unity is limitless. The High Priest on the screen was stunned. She didn't expect it. Faced with the siege of so many powerful spacecraft, you dare to run away? Are you really trying to kill yourself? High Priest, how dare you do this? Rocket waved. The big face disappeared instantly. At the same time, those golden spaceships, at a very fast speed, chasing towards the Unity. But the rockets were not panicking at all. The speed of the Unity is a dimensionality reduction attack on those spacecraft. If the rocket overtook them too far, it would deliberately stop and wait for them. The High Priest was immediately furious. CM for me, CM. Suddenly, thousands of planes. A dense barrage of shells was fired at the Unity. Rocket controls Unity. Easily dodge. Even if it hits occasionally. For the Unity, it is not a big deal. That's all. Rockets have been sneaking past these fleets. Until a white spaceship appeared. Rocket was stunned. What is that? There seems to be a person standing on it. People on the white spaceship. Just a wave of the hand. Suddenly, a white light burst out from his hand. Shot at the fleets. Suddenly, boom. The powerful white light seemed to cover the entire universe. Those spaceships, all were annihilated. You can imagine. What expression would the High Priest have? Watching the disappearing ships. Rocket was stunned. Although, solidarity can do that, too. But, this is the Unity after all. How could that person be so strong? Are we going to encounter the containment again? Wait. Quill looked closely at the man, who had white hair and a thick beard. This guy looks like 343, God. Can it really be him? No way, is this true? By the way, 343 is also a divine containment object, right? Could it be? Gamera was suddenly shocked. At the moment, outside the window, the person standing on the spaceship seemed to be waving at them. Apparently, there was no malicious intent. The next moment, his face appeared on the screen. Hello, my friends. Let me introduce myself. My name is Igo. He gave Quill a long look and said, "You may not know me, but I have known you for a long time." Drax glanced at Quill, then back at the man on the screen. "Quill, why do I feel like he's a bit like you?" Quill looked confused. "What are you talking about?" "Stop talking nonsense, okay? Ego, how about it, my friends? Do you want to visit my planet?" "Wait." Rocket looked very surprised. "Your planet? You mean, you have a whole planet?" "Yes." Egg opened his arms, "A whole huge planet." Rocket's eyes lit up. "I think this person is very enthusiastic, what do you think?" "Drax, he helped us destroy the fleet, even though we didn't need it. But, I don't mind. Besides, I'm hungry and tired of eating bugs every day." "Quill, why don't we just go? We have the protection of the Solidarity. There's nothing to be afraid of, that's all." The group followed Ego and came to his planet. What they didn't notice was a spaceship, following in their footsteps, also landed on the planet. Inside the spaceship, she is the most terrifying woman in the universe. Nebula. Members of the Guardians of Galaxy put on their protective suits aboard the Solidarity. These suits have very powerful technology. Not only can it adapt to a variety of environments, but it is also very strong. It has a protective shield and comes with a variety of weapons. In addition, it is possible to summon weapons on the Unity to carry out precise strikes on targets. It can be said that it is a complete hexagonal warrior with no shortcomings. This is also the reason why they dared to come to this unknown planet so easily. On Ego's spaceship, Egg walked down. Then, a woman with fair skin and a pair of tentacles came out. Drax noticed her immediately. "What is that?" "Ego, oh, she's nothing, she's my maid." Ego looked at Quill again. "I didn't expect, Quill, that you've grown so big after all these years." Quill was very confused. "Do we know each other?" "We are more than acquaintances. Come with me, I will show you something good, that's all." Quill followed Egg away. And others, under the leadership of Mantis, went to Ego's palace. Gamera sat outside alone, thinking about something. I don't know how much time passed. Gamera was staring at the sun in the sky in a daze. The afterglow of the setting sun illuminates this magical and magnificent land. Exceptionally beautiful. Gamera's mood seemed to relax a little. Just at this moment, she seemed to notice the sun is getting bigger. Gamera was shocked. It was a burning spaceship, coming straight down at her. Although protected by protective clothing, but Gamera instinctively ran away. On the spaceship, the nebula carrier was filled with rage. Roaring, rushing towards Gamera desperately. At the moment, above the light curtain, a girl of about 16 years old appeared on this planet. Nick Fury's eyes widened immediately. "She is the containment anomaly, Monica." Chapter 170. In the realm of Taegzu, Loki was extremely nervous. He looked behind him and then ahead. He was quite sure there are very huge amounts of stuff. It passed before his eyes. And it's extremely fast. This damn place is so damn bad. Loki's hand. Purple energy lingers. But Humi kept smiling. "Move on. He can feel it. The entrance to Gigzu is very close." Suddenly, the strange plant in front, of unknown species, moved. Loki shouted. Purple energy burst out from his hands. With a bang, the violent explosion created a huge hole in the ground. However, judging from the embers after the explosion, it was really just a bunch of plants. "Mr. Loki, you are too nervous." Homi's tone was very calm, and he turned back to look at Loki. At the same time, the huge amounts of figures suddenly appeared in front of everyone. "It has a bloody mouth bigger than a human. I'm going to bite the rice into 2 pieces." Loki was startled. He just wanted to serve the energy. I saw Humi's body moved slightly. With a swish sound, the monster suddenly stopped in the air. The next moment, its body was split into 2 from top to bottom. Suddenly, blood and internal organs of various colors gushing out. But these filthy things just avoided Humi. Not a single splash on him. Loki's eyes suddenly widened. His heart. Shocking is no longer enough to describe it. As an Asgard god, He actually didn't see Homie's movements clearly. Moreover, he is so handsome and elegant. Loki has always set elegance as the standard for himself. I am ashamed of myself. Like I said, Mr. Loki, you are too nervous. Homie smiled. If I met him for the first time. It's really hard to tell the gender. Loki came back to his senses. He suddenly discovered. None of Homie's men were left. All of them were corroded by the blood of the monster just now. Not even a bone is left. The ground was also corroded into large pits. And it is still corroding. Loki also saw the monster's true appearance. Its head resembles that of a lion, with the horns of a bull. But the whole face, including the body, all of them are in a state of advanced decay. It's ridiculous. Homie continued to walk forward. The person who wrote the classic of mountains and seas portrayed these filthy things as spiritual and beautiful creatures. Hee. It seems that people only believe what they want to believe. A few drops of sweat appeared on Loki's forehead. He looked at his armor which had a hole corroded on it. He followed Homie's footsteps. Now, he just wanted to find what Homie was looking for as soon as possible and leave this damn place. He carefully avoided the corrosive things that were still writhing on the ground. That beautiful figure in the tree disappeared together. Rear. Thor's ominous premonition became stronger and stronger. That Homie was much more dangerous than Thor had expected. He realized. You can't just follow behind. The first thing he had to do. Just rescue Loki and send him back to Asgard. However. The next moment. Thor lost them. He suddenly became a little flustered. I can't feel their breath anymore. The next moment. The surrounding environment suddenly darkened. Thor instinctively sensed the danger. He clenched the hammer in his hand. In the light curtain. Iga planet. I am your father. Egg spread his hands. And Quill had a stunned expression. His mind is blank now. Egg smiled slightly. Yes, Quill, you heard me right, I am your father. He put his hands behind his back and looked towards the direction of the Earth in space. Many years ago, I came to Earth and fell in love with your mother. For a moment, Quill couldn't believe it. He shook his head constantly. More than 30 years later, you suddenly appeared. When my mother was seriously ill, you didn't show up. I was sold to space pirates and did hard labor every day, but you didn't show up. I was stranded on a deserted planet, starving, but you didn't show up either. Now, you say you are my father. I understand how you feel, kid. Egg looked very sad. As a god, sometimes, you really can't help yourself. Do you know how many descendants I have? Seeing that Quill didn't respond, Ego asked himself, I can't remember clearly, but it must be more than 1 billion. Quill, oh my god, that's more than I ever had in one go. That's not the point. Come on, kid. I'll show you your true ability. Egg grabbed Quill's hand. Suddenly. Quill felt. Both the Ren and Du meridians in his body were opened. He took a few steps back. I feel full of strength. He had never felt this way before. Egg's eyes became fanatical. Yes, child. This is the power you have. You are a god. I am, God. I am God. Quill's eyes turned blue. In his hands. The blue light gathered. Boom. In an instant. A 10-meter deep hole was blasted into the ground. Be careful, kid, this is a planet I spent tens of millions of years creating. Under the light curtain. FK, is he really a god? And this is just a joke. Who could have imagined this? Aliens came to Earth to start a harem. He calls himself a god. Is that true? Maybe he's just an alien with super abilities. Did you hear that? He said that it took him tens of millions of years to create this planet. If that's true, it's too amazing. Creating a planet, this can't be described as a god. Yes. You can imagine how terrifying his strength is. D77777 just happened to invade this planet. She met a god. Ha 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 ha, looks like she's going to be in trouble. At the moment. The Ancient One opened the portal. Arrived directly on the Ego planet. The environment of this planet. Just as she expected. It was extremely desolate, without a single life. The other side. Egg's expression turned serious. Wait for me, kid, we have a guest. Gamera barely avoided the impact of the spacecraft. Nebula roared. Bullets were pouring down wildly towards Gamera. Gamera used his body to jump left and right, dodging bullets. But the bullets were too dense. Fortunately, the protective clothing is very sturdy. Blocked the bullet damage. The spacecraft also stopped after running out of energy. What neither Nebula nor Gamera noticed was D77777 is watching all this intently. She looked at the huge amounts of gun barrels on the ship. Arms. She stretched out her right hand. Suddenly, it turned into a machine gun exactly like the one on the spaceship. Chapter 171. FK, look, her hands have turned into weapons. You can conjure up a Gatling gun right away? I dare not imagine what it will become in the future. Is this the supreme godhood? Well, let's get rid of her now. Don't let her evolve. Yeah, just nip her in the bud. Don't Guardians of Galaxy have the solidarity? Kill her quickly. S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick was surprised to see D77777 with his arm transformed into a Gatling gun. He couldn't imagine that such a huge weapon could grow directly from a person's body. Can this thing really shoot bullets? If that's the case, then she is definitely the most powerful biological weapon ever. The supreme deity. Nick Fury shuddered. Just touching the supreme divinity. It can make an ordinary person become a god. That, the supreme deity originally. How powerful and terrifying would it be? Nick couldn't even think about it. No, no. Stop. Above the light curtain, Gamera dodged Nebula's blade. I don't want to hurt you, Nebula. Gamera was merely dodging Nebula's attacks. There was no counterattack. You don't want to hurt me. Nebula gnashed her teeth and slashed at Gamera frantically with her knife, but I want to hurt you. Nebula yelled. A horizontal slash. Gamera leaned back to avoid it. Nebula's energy blade. The rock behind Gamera was split in half in one go. Listen, Nebula. Gamera used the battlesuit's ability to grab Nebula's wrist. This speed surprised Xingyun. Nebula felt a sharp pain in her wrist. Gamera's hands were like two big pliers, almost crushing Nebula's wrist. Listen, Xingyun, there is an extremely dangerous containment outside now. We must get rid of her, otherwise. Bang! Nebula kicked Gamera in the vitals. Gamera suddenly felt a sharp pain and lost all her strength. Xingyun's feet were also in great pain. After all, the battlesuit's defensive power is not to be underestimated. Gamera quickly stood up. He knocked the Nebula to the ground. Then, she pulled out a blue glowing rope from her battlesuit. Thrown onto Nebula. This rope directly tied up Nebula. Gamera looks at D77777 outside. She pulled out a gun and aimed it at her head. I'm sorry, you may be innocent, but I can't let you live in this world. Bang! Suddenly, a strong blue light shot into D77777's head. Suddenly, D77777's head was blown off. Success? Hit the target. Yay! Wow, she should be dead now? Her head is exploded. Is she really finished? It's so powerful. The Solidarity is like a plug-in for the Foundation. Everything on it is so powerful. This time, we finally managed to get rid of the objects before a major disaster happened. It was so difficult. Oh my god! Do you think, will she come back to life? That shouldn't be the case, right? Look, her body has already fallen down. In the realm of Tegzu, Thor's Adam's apple moved. He looked at the barrier of black fog that surrounded him tightly. Then, in the sky, a very huge monster jumped down. Boom! The soil around, they were all shaken to pieces. Thor saw the man's face clearly. His face, body, and arms were covered with densely packed pustules of varying sizes. Anyone suffering from trypophobia would collapse immediately when seeing this scene. Also, he has nearly 100 arms. They vary in length and thickness. These arms were like they were sewn onto his body. Ah! His voice was extremely distorted and weird. Damned reptile of the broken church, prepare to die. Thor swung his hammer. I am not from the broken church, but, if you stand in my way. Hee, you filthy creations of the broken god. The disgusting metallic smell on you makes me want to vomit. Ha! The monster suddenly stretched out one of its arms. A giant palm nearly 10 meters wide. He took a picture of Thor. On Thor's hammer. Filled with thunder and lightning. Swing upwards with all your might. Collided with the monster's big hand. Bang! Suddenly. Huge amounts of force were used to tear the monster's hand into pieces. The solidified blood, mixed with lightning, splashed everywhere. Thor got a mess in the face. The monster covered its broken wound and howled in pain, "Ah! Damn broken god cult! Lord Ion, please give me strength!" He lunged at Thor again. This time. Dozens of arms. Swing hard at Thor. Die, die. Deep pits were smashed into the ground one after another. But, Thor is an experienced warrior after all. The monster's attack seems fierce, but in fact it is completely random. Just attacking randomly. Thor roared. The counterattack began. He swung the hammer vigorously several times. Then, he threw it out violently. Suddenly, a crackling sound was heard. The monster's dozens of arms exploded like firecrackers. Ah! The monster's screams were extremely scary. You can imagine how painful it is to have your heart connected to your fingers. What's more, so many arms were blown off at once. The pain was worse than a piercing pain. Ah, damn it, you beast! Lord Ion, lend me your power. Suddenly. The remaining limbs of the monster stretched instantly, and then twisted together. Then, an extremely huge dragon head appeared on the severed limb. The flesh and blood constantly condenses. Thor immediately sensed danger. The hammer was immediately withdrawn. Aim at the monster's head. But the dragon head has been formed. In an instant. A flame. Spray at Thor. It drowned him in an instant. Ordinary flames naturally cannot hurt this Asgard god. But, this kind of fire is like the Samadhi true fire. Thor's skin melted in an instant. His armor was of no use. At this moment, due to the high temperature, the melted skin stuck to the meat. Thor's face was almost burnt to charcoal. He lay on the ground motionless. Chapter 172. Haha, haha, haha. Stupid broken god cult people. The monster walks towards Thor. His body began to decay rapidly. Half of the brain was exposed and squirming disgustingly. After accepting Lord Ion's favor, I will die quickly. But, being able to send a fool like you to hell with my own hands, ha 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 ha. It's worth it. The dragon's head pointed at Thor's head. Flames burst out of the dragon's eyes. What the monster didn't notice was, Thor suddenly opened his eyes. His eyes were full of lightning. The next moment, he stood up instantly. Just. That dragon head spewed out a strong flame. Looking at Thor in the air. The monster's eyes were filled with fear and confusion. How could such an idiot from the broken church evolve? Thor roared. Suddenly. A powerful energy. Shake away the black fog. There are lightning and thunder in the sky. Huge amounts of lightning gathered on Thor's hammer. The next moment. The hammer carries extremely powerful lightning. He chopped down at the monster instantly. Boom. The earth trembles. The monster was blasted to pieces without leaving any trace. Thor gasps. He wiped the black ash off his face. He looked at his hands in disbelief. This power feels so special. It was like he was supposed to have this kind of power, but it had always been blocked. Just now, the shackles were finally broken. At the moment, Thor saw the dragon head on the ground. He picked it up immediately. The other side. Loki felt a powerful shock. Immediately following, there were lightning and thunder in the sky. His pupils suddenly shrank. This power. He is so familiar. It's obviously Thor's power. How did he get here? Loki suddenly panicked. Could it be that he knew I was still alive? But how was I exposed? Could it be that I appeared on the light curtain? Loki was not afraid of Thor. But this power is really amazing. Could it be that Thor has been hiding himself all along? Why? At the moment, Humi in front of him had his hands behind his back and held up a red paper umbrella with his other hand. I say the same thing, Mr. Loki, you are too nervous. We just need to complete our mission. Don't worry about anything else. Loki. He didn't know what to say. Thor detected his brother's scent. I have to rescue Loki quickly. if he encounters a monster like the one just now. Thinking like this, Thor rushed towards Loki. Suddenly, on the earth, countless threads made of flesh and blood attacked Thor. The next moment, a powerful force dragged him directly to the ground. Then, the threads of flesh and blood wrapped Thor tightly, layer by layer. Thor struggled desperately, but he had no strength left. He is like a cocoon. At the last moment when he was about to be completely enveloped, Thor saw a girl in a black robe and a hood, just standing in front. Seeing Thor unable to move, the girl lowered her raised hand. Thor has also become a complete dumpling. Above the light curtain, Gamera raised the gun, aiming at the remains of D77777. After seeing that she didn't move anymore, Gamera breathed a sigh of relief. Suddenly, on the remains, huge amounts of gun barrels were sticking out. Aim for Gamera's head. Squeeze, squeeze. Powerful firepower. Gamera was blasted away directly. There were cracks on her mask. The next moment, the broken body stood up directly. Her head. It grew back. Weapons, I understand. 2%. She aimed at Gamera again. Gamera struggled to get up. Her heart suddenly skipped a beat. She didn't expect it. That weak bullet just now. Now it can actually break the defense of protective clothing? Could it be that D77777 has evolved? It happened in the blink of an eye. D77777 opens fire again. The powerful bullets poured towards Gamera. Thousands of bullets, like a rainstorm. Gamera quickly used shield. A blue barrier stood on the ground. Gamera took this opportunity. He quickly let go of Xingyun and dragged her away. At the same time, the barrier could no longer withstand the powerful firepower. Shattered in an instant. The bullets didn't even stop because of the impact. It directly blew up the mountain behind it. Moreover, the flight is still continuing. This shocked the people under the light curtain. Oh my god, is it really just the regenerative healing factor per capita? This is too. How can we fight this? Regenerative healing factor plus evolution. This evolution speed is really too terrifying. How can a machine gun evolve to this speed? She just said that she understood weapons by 2%? What does that mean? Is it referring to her level of evolution? 2% has reached this point? What if it's 100%? I can't even imagine it. The other side. The Ancient One searches for D77777. She was confident that her magic could stop the object. And at the moment, Ego suddenly appeared in front of her. Ancient One, what are you doing on my planet? Ego put his hands behind his back, looking very unhappy. Ancient One, why, you don't welcome me, your old friend. Friend? Humph, you dirty, low-level earth creature, dare you call me your brother? Anger appeared in Ego's eyes. Is your wife on earth also the filthy creature you are talking about? Wife? Ha ha ha, she's just a tool for me to cultivate offspring. I got tired of playing with her, so I put a tumor in her brain. Ego laughed disdainfully. What? Suddenly, Star-Lord's voice sounded behind Ego. UBD. Star-Lord shot at Ego wildly. Suddenly, Ego's body shattered and then collapsed. This scene made the people on Earth under the light curtain feel very relieved. Ego's body gathered again and he stood up again. Son, why are you here? What I just said was just FKU. Star-Lord shoots Ego again. This time, Ego was really angry. Suddenly, the earth trembled. Countless huge amounts of blue tentacles grow out of the ground. In an instant, it penetrated Quill's body. Draw on his divine power. Who do you think you are? Without me, you are just a dirty and incompetent earthling. Since you don't want to be my son, then fine. For the next tens of millions of years, you will be my battery. The Ancient One quickly summoned the magic disc. Suddenly, red light shoots out. In one go, the tentacles were cut off. Ah! Ego screamed. The Ancient One immediately caught Star-Lord who was falling from the sky. But dozens of tentacles shot towards them. The other side. D77777, through infrared sensing, saw Gamera and Nebula running wildly in the cave. At the moment, weapons. 3% in an instant. Her arms quickly grew larger. Machinery quickly replaced flesh and blood. Just like shape-shifting King Kong's arm. Various cannon barrels and gun barrels are extremely huge. Her arms alone were bigger than her entire body. And yet she was able to raise her arms effortlessly and aim at Gamera and Nebula. Suddenly, blue and orange rays gather in the barrel. Rocket saw the light curtain. So he arrived here in time. Ah, damn! Evolved so fast. He raised the bazooka in his hand. Aim at D77777's head. Boom! Rocket launcher fired. But moments before the rocket hits D77777, a mechanical arm extended from her back. Just grab the rocket. Then she gave the rocket back to Rocket. Suddenly, an extremely powerful explosion. Swallow the rocket. The next moment, the barrel of D77777's cannon. It emitted fierce blue and orange light. In an instant, everything turned white. The mountain is several thousand meters high. It was razed to the ground in an instant. D77777's arms dropped down. Because she detected that Gamera and Nebula's vital signs disappeared. Chapter 173. The light curtain is divided into left and right sides, playing separately. On one side, Ego fights against the Ancient One. On one side was D77777's one-sided massacre. It's dazzling. Shit, I just realized that Ego is originally from this planet. Ha, your reaction is really slow. This is interesting. If a god as big as Ego planet fights with D77777 who can evolve infinitely. No need to ask, after all, Ego is stronger. Even if she evolves again, how can she still compare to an entire planet? Even the Ancient One had no choice but to flee. Oh my god, it's this level after evolving to 3%? I think if she really evolved to 100%, Ego wouldn't be able to stop her, right? Besides, this D7777 seems to be immortal. Countless tentacles shot down towards the Ancient One. Give me back my son. The Ancient One definitely couldn't hand Quill over to him. Because, using Quill's energy, Ego can activate the seeds he planted on other planets. In this way, almost all life in the universe will be killed. The Ancient One constantly cuts at the tentacles with magic. However, it caused almost no substantial harm to Ego. The tentacles will grow back in an instant and attack them. Now, Ancient One no longer has the energy to take care of D77777. I can only hope that someone else can think of a solution. The other side. The smoke cleared. The rocket was protected by a transparent energy shield and was unharmed. He was breathing heavily. Unexpectedly, this D77777 evolves so quickly. Damn it, what should I do? In the deep pit next to it, a huge amounts of energy shield protecting Gamera and Nebula. This is the energy shield that was remotely delivered by the Unity spacecraft. Xingyun's chest rose and fell violently. What is this thing? She looked at the huge amounts of energy shield. Absolutely incredible. She never expected that D77777's attack just now was actually blocked. This was a blow that blew up a mountain. Gamera seemed to know what Nebula was thinking. This is a Foundation ship. You'll get used to it. At the moment, Rocket on the other side. On his mask, displays various data. The crosshair in the middle has already located D77777. Rocket took a deep breath and yelled, Unity. Suddenly, far away, two oversized missiles flew over. They are extremely fast. It blasted towards D77777. Suddenly, an extremely powerful energy burst out. The center of the explosion is like a black hole. Everything around, rocks, spaceship wreckage, etc. They were all sucked in. Even space began to distort. D77777 was also being wantonly ravaged by this extremely powerful energy. Then, boom! A burst of pure energy. Everything around was annihilated in an instant. Even the wreckage of D77777 could not be seen. Shit, it has to be the Solidarity. It's so powerful. Is he really dead this time? Oh my god, it attracts first and then explodes. This kind of missile is only on the Unity. I said, what if she evolves again? Isn't it just a matter of triggering missiles? It seems that not all divine containments are strong. Indeed, this performance is not as good as the Bismarck. S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick was shocked by the power of the Unity missile. Although solidarity can always surprise people. But Nick still felt incredible. I'm afraid even the Kree people can't even dream of reaching this level of technology. Nick didn't think any living thing could survive in that situation. Unless... In the light curtain. A cold voice made the people under the light curtain hold their breath. Weapon, evolution, 5%. In the realm of Taegzu. Passing through thick purple fog one after another. Finally. An entrance to an abyss of extremely huge amounts appeared in front of Humi. He opened his arms, please witness, return to the ruins. His voice was excited. Just at this moment. A violent tremor was approaching this side. In the endless darkness. Two scarlet eyes, so scary. Humi smiled slightly, long time no see. Dowdy. Chapter 174. The entrance to Gigzu. Just see. An arm of extremely huge amounts of material stretched out first. That hand is bigger than an ordinary person's body. The skin above is green and blue, extremely rough and thick. Loki stepped back. And Humi stood there with his hands behind his back. The huge amounts of arm used force to pull his body out. In an instant, the earth shook and dust flew. The fog around was blown away. Just see. A huge head popped out. The appearance is extremely ferocious. It opened its mouth and roared. Suddenly. An extremely strong wind pressure came, bringing with it a foul stench. Loki almost fell to the ground. The big mouth of Dowdy is filled with foul-smelling mucus. Rows of broken and yellowed teeth look extremely creepy. Next. Dowdy's entire body came out. What's strange is. He only has the upper body. His lower body looked like it had been gnawed by something. Dowdy constantly approached Humi with his hands. But Humi still stood with his hands behind his back, motionless, and continued to explain. Dowdy, the most greedy of the four fierce beasts, even eats itself. After so many years, Dowdy, I didn't expect that you have eaten your own lower body. It seems that hunger has been tormenting you. Dowdy doesn't want to listen to Humi's nonsense. He raised his big hand. Then, take a picture from the air. It hit Humi hard. Suddenly. The earth cracked, and countless gullies hundreds of meters deep appeared. Loki was shocked. He was wondering why Humi didn't dodge. Does he want to fight back? As the smoke cleared. Loki's pupils suddenly shrank. Just see. Humi used one hand to support Dowdy's big hand. Dowdy, ah Dowdy. Humi smiled slightly, how many times have you lost to me? At the moment. Dowdy wanted to pull his hand back. But Humi held his fingers tightly. Make him unable to move. Humi turned back to look at Loki, Mr. Loki, it's time for you to take action. Loki finally came to his senses. He put his hands together. Suddenly. The terrifying energy began to gather. The next moment. Loki growled. Suddenly. Energy bursts out. Shoot fiercely towards Dowdy. To Loki's surprise. Dowdy opened his mouth wide. Swallowed the energy in one gulp. The next moment. His skin turned purple and swelled up. But. Soon, he completely absorbed the energy. And burped. This time Loki was extremely shocked. After all, he is the #1 magician in the 9 realms. That was his strongest attack just now. It turns out. Was it directly swallowed by Dowdy? What are the origins of these so-called ancient ferocious beasts? Why are you so perverted? Loki immediately became angry. Beast, let's see how much you can devour. Loki began to pour energy towards Dowdy frantically. Humi controlled Dowdy's hand, preventing him from moving. That's all. Loki constantly. Gluttonous and constantly swallowing. Until. The remaining upper body of Dowdy was swollen beyond capacity. Humi held out his hand towards Loki, all right, Mr. Loki, that's enough then. Humi pulled Dowdy down. Then he kicked him into Gigzu. Just like that, Dowdy's angry and unwilling roar sank into the abyss. Getting fainter and fainter until it disappears. Loki waited for a long time before he heard the Dowdy's cry completely disappear. This made him sweat coldly. Are we going to enter such a deep abyss? Humi covered his mouth and chuckled a few times. Don't worry, Mr. Loki, you may die in countless ways in Gigzu. But falling to death is definitely not included. As for why, you will know when you go in. After saying that, Humi jumped in. Loki's throat suddenly tightened. He walked towards the entrance of Gigzu. It was extremely huge and dark there. So dark that not even light can escape. But, if you don't jump in, what awaits Loki is to be captured and taken back to Asgard in disgrace. He was locked in a cage and laughed at by everyone. Think of this. Loki took a deep breath. I, Loki, am the god of Asgard and the greatest magician in the 9 realms. Let's fight. He jumped in. Embrace the darkness. But he regretted it the next moment. In the light curtain, an enormous ego made of blue energy appeared. He was very angry, grabbing towards the Ancient One at an extremely fast speed. At the same time, the tentacles constantly attacked her from behind. The Ancient One released magic quickly. But this is Ego's home court after all. Unless the core of the planet is destroyed. Otherwise, it would be impossible to kill Ego. These blue things are just pure energy bodies. No matter how it is destroyed, it will regenerate. But, as powerful as the Ancient One is, her power has a limit. She was already feeling tired. Ah! Ego roared, an extremely powerful energy spurted out of his mouth. The Ancient One quickly gathered energy and formed a magic shield. The energy bombarded the shield violently. The shield began to shatter. Ego's energy is endless. He walked towards the Ancient One and continued to spray energy. Suddenly, a huge amount of red quills rose up from the planet. He rushed towards Egg. A punch hit him in the face. Ego fell to the ground instantly. Ancient One also had a chance to catch his breath. Quill looked at Ancient One, leave this to me. Ego's only target is me. Ancient One, go deal with the containment. The Ancient One nodded. Flying towards the direction of D77777. Ego climbed up and said, it seems that when I absorbed your energy just now, I accidentally connected you to my core, so you can use my energy. But Egg's figure began to gradually expand. You want to use my energy to defeat me? This is ridiculous. You are even more stupid than your mother. Quill glared at Egg, you will pay for this. He roared and rushed towards the murderer who killed his mother. FK, look, that funny guy turned into a red giant. I really didn't expect that this funny guy would have his moments. I thought he was just irritated. But, can he really beat Ego? Anyway, at least D77777 is dead. FK. She's dead. Look. In the light curtain. In the air. Flesh and blood began to appear out of nowhere, and then gathered. Weapons. 5%. Her voice was very cold, as if a robot was speaking. Her body began to take shape. His whole body was covered with all kinds of strange weapons. With just the head, he still looks like a human being. Rocket shook his head. What the hell is this monster? It was blown up to pieces with no cells left. How can it recover? Even the immortal lizard calls it an expert. There's no other way. Rocket summoned the missile again. D77777 was hit again. In an instant, huge amounts of exploded, engulfing her. But the flames of the explosion dissipated. Not long after, D77777 is back again. 6%. She said to herself. Damn it. Rocket summoned the missile again. That's all. D77777 would be blown to ashes every time. She is not like the immortal evil lizard, which can evolve adaptively. She just couldn't die. That's all. D77777 is constantly killed by the explosion. And constantly recover. A huge hole several hundred meters deep had been blasted out on the ground. This situation only lasted until D77777 uttered this sentence. 10%. Suddenly, D77777 grows immensely taller. Half of her face also turned into a machine. Her body became extremely bloated, filled with various gun barrels, cannon barrels, and mechanical parts. Looking at the missiles flying in the sky, light shoots out from D77777's body. The missile hit accurately. In the air, an extremely gorgeous flame exploded. Rocket's eyes suddenly showed a trace of despair. Damn it, Solidarity's missiles are useless. At the moment, Ancient One arrives. She stretched out her hands and released magic. Mirror Space. Chapter 175. My God, the divine containment is so despairing. We know we can't do anything to it, but we have to stop it, even if it means delaying time. Yes, and she knew that she would eventually evolve to the point of being invincible, but everything she did was just a means to delay her death. I really didn't expect that she is also a regenerative healing factor. With this level of bombardment, not even a single cell should be left. Yet she can still come back to life. These gods are truly terrifying. At the moment, the Ancient One casts a spell suddenly, the space around him began to distort. The ground flips. In an instant, D77777 was trapped in the mirror space. The Ancient One lowered his arms. Everything became quiet. There was only the sound of the wind blowing. The smell of smoke after the explosion was so choking. Rocket's chest heaved violently. His eyes were wide. Stare intently at the place where D77777 disappeared. How he wished. D77777 was trapped in the mirror space. But the Rockets understand that this is impossible. He still remembered how easily the shy man escaped from the mirror dimension. It is not even a receptacle of divinity. Then this D77777. How is it possible to be bound by the mirror space? The Rockets' hearts are struggling between hope and despair. But time passes by second. Still quiet. On the main body of Unity. Tony's mouth opened wider and wider. No way. Could it be that the mirror space really trapped her? Tony couldn't believe his eyes. But the mirror space seems to have no signs of breaking. Tony suddenly became excited. Could it be? Tony just started to get hopeful. But think about it. D77777 will also evolve in the mirror space. In that case, could it be that D7777 is just temporarily trapped inside? Suddenly, Tony's communicator buzzed. He answered the phone. Suddenly, his expression gradually became shocked. What? Are you crazy? In the light curtain, the Ancient One breathed a sigh of relief. She knows. D77777 has been completely trapped in the mirror space. In fact, when she released the mirror space just now, she was not sure whether she could trap D77777. But, it seems. After all, there is always something that can defeat something else. The truly terrifying thing about D77777 is that she is a concept. And a concept cannot be killed. However, this does not mean that concepts cannot be trapped. Just like in the comic universe, the goddess of death was imprisoned for eternity. It seems that no matter how powerful the weapon is, it cannot break through the limitations of magic. At least, for now. One way or another. The mirror space can at least control D77777 for quite a long time. During this period of time, we need to think of a solution. How can D77777 be completely contained? But, soon, new troubles arose. On the other side, the father and son who were fighting passionately seemed to have decided the winner. The blue giant lifted up the shattered remains of the red giant. Ah, stupid child, suddenly. Countless huge blue tentacles stretched out from Ego's mouth. Then, inserted into Quill's mouth, eyes, and ears. Then, Ego began to absorb energy frantically. His body expanded rapidly. Ah! Such a powerful force. You are truly my best child. At the moment, in the universe, on all planets with life, an enormous amount of blue substance gushed out from the center of the Earth. Suddenly, these magma-like substances spread across the planet like a tsunami. Countless lives ended here. Even the technologically advanced Kree planet has no way to deal with this. Seeing his home planet being destroyed like this, Ronan was suddenly extremely panicked. The soldiers fired wildly at the blue lava. But it doesn't work. The extremely solid high-tech building was destroyed in an instant, like a toy castle. Ronan's eyes trembled. What on earth is happening? What on earth is this thing? Why did it appear without any warning? This continues. Not long. All life in the universe will be ended. Ego was extremely cheerful. Ha ha ha, I feel the low-level lives disappearing. Ha 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 ha. Look, look. After all, the only perfect life left in the universe is me. He stared at the trembling Quill and said, what a pity. You could have become the most perfect life, but you chose the ending of destruction. The Ancient One tried desperately to stop Ego. But hundreds of millions of tentacles, spreading over tens of millions of kilometers, smashed down towards the Ancient One. The ground cracked. All the people fell in. Ego's strength has greatly increased. Control this planet as you would control your own body. See? Quill? You can't protect your friends. Because you are just like them, a low-level life. Ridiculous Foundation, you and those stupid containments should go to hell together. Ha 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 ha. The Ancient One was desperately squeezed by billions of tentacles. She couldn't even breathe. At the moment, a familiar voice sounded in her ears. Open the mirror space and release D77777. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you are notified of future uploads. You can find the next parts in the playlist visible on the screen or on my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.